Hello, kitties. This is your Julie, the Crypt Keeper, and you're listening to Slasher Radio.
Welcome to Slasher Radio with the host Mike Robles, Rob Humphrey.
What's happening?
And no Canadian for this week.
No.
Kinda.
Well, we'll see what happens. She might pop in,
Unfortunately.
from what I understand. But right now, we are without a Canadian.
Canadianless. That word?
I mean, it can be.
Yeah. Cass is away on assignment down at Halloween Horror Nights. She might be calling in live from Halloween Horror Nights. As we're recording this right now, she is in the Five Nights at Freddy's house.
Yeah.
The call is coming from inside the house.
I fully expect her to be completely drunk and an absolute sloppy mess if she does call in, but we'll see what happens.
Right. There's three. By the way, also, we're joined by a special guest to replace Miss Kanuda Nana Nudida. It is a Slasher Radio Hall-of-Famer. Anybody who has listened to the show for any amount of decent amount of time will be one way or another aware of this gentleman. We are joined by EYERCHRIS. Welcome, Chris. How are you?
Hell of a deal. I'm doing good. Just bringing that bag of Canadian Arizona desert.
Oh,
There you go.
was that just sand in a bag? Bags of sand?
Pretty much.
They do have bags of sand. I wonder if they come from Canada. But there's three things that could happen here, Chris. Either we'll hear from Cass and we'll hear about Halloween Horror Nights. She'll be very informative and professional.
That-
Get the bullshit one that's not going to happen out of the way.
I was going to say, that's a very low percentage.
Very low. Option two, she can't get through connection. It won't work, whatever. Option three, she will be sloppy drunk. And we're going to have to deal with that until she hangs up the phone.
Yeah. And there'll be lots of talks of blinky cups.
As long as she's not me feast drunk, we're probably fine.
We don't know. We don't know what's about to happen. Anyway, we are here this week. An interview. We're getting into spooky season soon. We're going to be speaking with Mike Robles. He is a former community manager, social media manager, all kinds of things inside of gaming for Illfonic, Xbox, a bunch of other different things. And he's going to be joining us talking about gaming and kind of giving everybody a look of behind the screen. I was going to say behind the camera, but behind the screen of these games that we like, Dead by Daylight and all these, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, all these games that those aren't games that he's worked on, but this asymmetrical horror world that's so talked about and it's so embedded in gaming now. We're going to get a look on the other side of how shit goes on from their end, which I think is super interesting.
Definitely good to get a good industry perspective on it. Because everybody always sees it from the player, but nobody knows what actually goes on behind the scenes.
No, they don't. And I think it's going to be super interesting. We do have a very busy show, though. So we have that. We're going to be playing our interview with Mike in a little bit. We have Drink Roll Call to get to. We have a mailbag to get to. Before we might be hearing from Canada later, allegedly. Before we get into any of that, though, we do have a little bit of a schedule that we can concrete announce.
Ooh, this is news to me.
That's
No, it's
right.
not.
I'm going to be on every episode the rest of the year. You heard it here first, folks.
God damn. I hear a mud wrestling match between Chris and Canada coming up soon. But our plan was to jam-pack October with as much for you guys as possible. We wanted to bring you an exclusive interview every single week on October 2nd, one day after the anniversary of this show. We will be joined by Greg Nicotero. The following week, we will have Tyler Main, Michael Myers, and the Rob Zombie Halloweens. The week after that, we will have Damian Maffei, Haunt. I mean, Damian's done a lot of cool shit. Strangers Pray at Night. What else am I missing, Rob?
He did Wrong Turn.
Yeah.
That remake. He was in the Clove. What was it? The Bloodline Killer.
Is that the one?
I can't remember. That stupid fucking movie was.
He's going to kick your ass. You know that, right? We're going to be talking to the dude soon. Okay.
Hey, was that the name of the movie? I got to know the name of the
I don't
movie
know.
now. I got to know that was it.
So that'll be the first week of the month. We're going to be Greg Nicotero, though. Second time he's been on the show. The Walking Dead, all those things. Tyler Main, Damian Maffei the week after that. The week after Damian Maffei will be for the patrons. We usually have that Patreon pick at the end of every month. We're going to be doing it the week before the end of the month. And Chris, I feel like you tell us, is this fair? Because sometimes we do ask you guys for theme stuff. The patrons get to pick a movie we watch 1 week out of every month. Totally up to them. We have to watch it and discuss it. But Chris, do you think it's fair when we ask you guys to theme it? Because we're going to ask you to Halloween theme this one, obviously. Is that fair?
That's right. You guys are going to be listening to Poltergeist.
God damn it. Biased aside of Poltergeist. Like, is it because it's and this is a good one too. It's Halloween. You know, this is a big one. You're kind of the chairman of the patrons, sort of.
I am. I just assume I'm the angry old dude that's screaming into the wind.
Perfect. That's a perfect job description.
I was gonna say, that sums up our patrons. Yeah.
Yeah. And us. But is that fair? Asking for like a themed episode? What do you think, Chris?
It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to pick a theme. Like,
we've done it before. Remember, we do the Christmas circle jerk every year.
Yeah, but I just wanted it because we never asked what they thought about it, honestly. I think it's fair, though. You guys get with the seasons.
You guys always pull the Christmas circle jerk, and Mikey never tries to pull the trump card of being like, we're going to do the killing tree just to spite Nesto.
Dude, don't think it hadn't crossed my mind. Nesto, don't think it hadn't crossed my mind. What if Nesto does it now? What if he says, fuck you and your Halloween theme, I'm pulling the trigger, kill a Christmas tree on Halloween?
Oh, that'd be something.
Right? The week before Halloween. That'd be some shit.
What if this is just my game to get him to do it?
But after that, for the week of Halloween, we're going to have Tim Willits, who has also been on this show before, of Saber Interactive, to talk everything about the new Hellraiser game, which I think is super dope. Like, this game was announced. Their social media has been awesome. You get to interact with Pinhead, like they're super spooky. We get into some of that talk with Mike about the Killer Klowns Twitter account and interacting with that and the way they, act like killer clowns on social media. Those things have been great, but nothing has come out about this game since. Nothing at all. So that'll be really fun. And I hope that's a pretty packed October.
It's going to be a hell of an October.
Hell of a deal. So that's how we're celebrating Halloween.
Hell of a deal.
Hell of a deal. So I just want to get everybody ready for that. That's coming up. That's next week. Jesus Christ. Time doesn't stop.
Hello.
Oh
shit.
God's sakes.
Hi.
How are you? We are joined by the traveling Canadian. Canada, you ain't supposed to be here, America.
I'm America right now. Get over it.
All right. Well, you are how are you doing, first and foremost?
I'm doing lovely. Thanks for asking.
I can tell. Good Lord.
1 through 10.
Yes.
How drunk are you at this moment?
I'm fine.
Bullshit. You're 12.
That's not a number.
That's Lizzie's age. No.
All right. So, Canada, you are at Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando right now, correct?
That is correct.
And you're fresh out of the Five Nights at Freddy's house?
Yes, I just walked out not even 5 minutes ago.
What was it like? What do you think?
It's not scary, but for a production point of view, it's really cool. They worked with Jim Henson again on his his company to do the animatronics for the house. So it looks like you're walking through scenes from the movie, which is really cool. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a cool house, but my boy Terrifier, he's my favorite.
More or less scary than the Chucky house from a couple of years ago, which wasn't scary at all.
Oh, Chucky was more. Yeah, Chucky was a lot more scary than the FNAF house.
Oh,
FNAF
really?
house, there's like 5 scare actors throughout the entire house.
Yeah, Chucky
it's all
wasn't
focusing on like the animatronics lighting up and making loud noises in your face.
Yeah.
So it's not like that scary.
If you spend that much money on those fucking animatronics, though, yeah, it should be about
for real.
that. Yeah, that's true.
For real.
Hell of a deal for them going above and beyond. So Terrifier's your favorite so far. Everyone says how fucking bloody that thing is. True or false?
Okay, so there's 2 paths when you're leaving, and there's a dry path and then a blood bath. And I obviously took the blood path.
Hell of a deal, as you should.
It's literally like you're taking a shower with how much the water is coming down. It's pretty crazy. We didn't expect to get as soaked as we did, but we're gonna take our time walking through it like tomorrow night when we're back, because we kind of ran through it because we didn't realize how fucking wet it is. So I plan on going back tomorrow and getting soaked.
You got to get a poncho.
I'll send pics for evidence.
You need to go through. We're just wearing a white, like a white T-shirt and whatnot, and be like,
sure.
Dear God, Christopher.
Hi, Chris.
What is happening? What is happening?
Man.
Yeah.
The Friday the 13th house, though, Cass, because I want you to enjoy your
God.
night. We're going to let you go, but we need to hear about that shit.
Okay, so that is, I would probably say, like, Terrifier is fun, but I got a lot of jump scares in the Friday the 13th, well, the Jason Universe house. There's, like, a gauntlet of Jasons at the end, and, like every different variation of Jason is popping out at you, and it was really cool, and I just wanted to hug them all. I couldn't touch them, but it's fine. But it was good. I really liked it.
That must have been fucking awesome. Like, so it was a homage.
Yeah, it was really fucking cool. Really, really impressive.
That's fucking dope.
What'd you think of the Wyatt house?
Because I don't know much about their background, and like, thank you for giving me what I needed to know before going into it. It was cool. It was really cool. Like, when you first walk in, you're like walking into like a distance of the house, and then like one of them jumps out and scares you. But yeah, it was really cool.
All right. Hell of a deal. Okay. Well, so overall, how would you rate your experience, Kath?
Oh, there's a reason why I go to this event every single fucking year for like a week straight. I love it. It's a lot of fun. Production level this year is like cranked up a lot, but
right.
I'm a huge fan of the IPs this year.
That's what I'm saying, though. You go to all of them. Like, this one has to be. Is this the best one?
I'd probably say yes, from the standpoint of like, there's a lot of people here this year than in previous years past because of the IPs that they've got this year. So I definitely say that, like, because Jason's here and Art the Clown and, you know, FNAF, it's definitely a good year.
How's the scare zones?
Oh, the scare zones are awesome. There's one that's like a masquerade, and it reminds me of like Phantom of the Opera meets vampires, and I love it.
Rob, when you went, they were taking you directly into the scare zones, right?
Yeah, I kept telling everybody, we don't have to go that way. We could just walk the long way around and not have to go through that and deal with that bullshit. But they kept making me go through them.
They're really cool.
No, they're not. They're people you jumping out and scaring me. I don't need all that shit.
Kudos to the team members this year at Halloween Horror Nights, I have to say, because we brought my friend's kid a couple days ago. He's 7 years old. First time he's ever been to like Halloween Horror Nights, and the team members were like incredible with him. Scare actors kept going up and fist pumping him. And it was awesome, it was a really cool experience for him.
Oh yeah, props. That's how you build future fans. That right there is how you do it. Yeah. And then they're ground floor on that shit, man. I'm glad they understand that. Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One of my picturing Cass is walking around with the "Don't Scare Me" badge.
Honestly, we were debating on buying it for him, but like it was really funny because we went through the FNAF house with him. He came out and he goes, "Yeah, no, I'm okay. I don't need to do any more haunted houses. I'm okay. And we're like, "Okay, that's fine. Like, you know, whatever." we go into like Diagon Alley, which is part of the Harry Potter stuff, and they have Death Eaters roaming around. And I drew a dark mark on his arm, which is like the symbol to show that like, he's one of them. And they were just wandering around with him the entire night and gave him like a new thing of confidence that every time after that point, when he went into scare zones, he would walk up to the scare actors and be like, "Don't mess with me. I'm gonna go get my buddy Art the Clown." And
that's hilarious.
He was walking through all the scare zones with his arms crossed, being like, "Don't mess with me. I'm a badass." It was really funny. I'll send you guys videos. It's really super cute seeing a 7-year-old kid try to scare actors.
Oh yeah, though. Good for him, dude. Yeah, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah. So it's been a good time.
Well, thank you for the information with the Canada. Is this the Canadian corner?
Shut up.
Well, it's your own segment. Look at this. This is awesome.
Yeah.
It's the Connexploitation corner.
Actually, Mike, I have something I need to send you that I got from an anonymous source. So I'll put that in the Discord after I get off the call, and then you guys can discuss it afterwards.
All right.
What the hell is this?
The Canadian corner with Cassie Kangaroo.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
You deserve that. Yeah, I'm not even going to bleep that now. Son of a bitch. All right, Kaz. Well, thank you very much. I hope you have a good rest of your night there and however much longer you're going to be there. So I hope you enjoy.
Yeah, it's getting late. Yeah, you might want to think about getting back and get some sleep there, Canada. It
was your bedtime like 5 hours ago. I'm going back to, we're walking back to the parking right now, and we parked in the Jaws parking lot. Very fitting, I know. Just wanted to share that
Jaws.
part.
Nice.
They play the Jaws music. It's
Oh,
great.
that's nice.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna let you guys go. I
All right,
will
Cass.
talk to you all later. Have a good night.
All right, have
Good
fun.
night, Kanuna
Hey.
Nana Nuna.
Bye,
Have a good
guys.
night.
All right. Well, the Canadian corner, everybody.
Oh, I should have told her about that taco place I went to when I was there. It's not that far from Universal. It's awful. They're terrible tacos, but, you know.
Well, why would you tell her to go there?
Yeah, they're tacos, you know. I don't know what time they close anyway.
All right. Drink roll call. What are you guys drinking?
Well, I've been just because it's a special night that I've been invited here. Like I decided to bring in the monster, the beast, for today.
Mm-hmm. Quite literally. I told Chris that's the alcoholic monster, right, Chris?
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I was like, I don't know what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trying to get this old man to stay up past 9 p.m. Like I need a little something.
All right.
Chris sent me a picture of this earlier in the day, Rob, and I told him he was going to have an erection for at least 11 days. Is what I think that.
All right. You're supposed to see a doctor after, what, 4 hours or something?
No, it's fine.
Only 11 days?
All right, Chris. I had those before, and I think it was very hit or miss. I think I liked some of them, didn't like some of them. So kind of one of those things.
The regular flavor, not too bad. I mean, it reminds me. It reminds me of back in the day before energy beers were outlawed by everybody.
Okay.
Yeah,
Rob,
Mikey doesn't drink regular flavor or anything. It's got to taste like some sort of candy or fruit or something.
You kiss my ass. It's not funny.
I am drinking bourbon, but not just any bourbon, a very special bourbon that I was very excited to get. It is it's not super rare, but it's kind of difficult to get in most places. In South Carolina, it's like it just doesn't exist. Like I've seen one bottle here and it was like $120, which is too much to pay for this bourbon. But I had heard online, people were saying that it is they get a shit ton of it in Georgia for some reason. Like so much so that when you walk into liquor stores, it's just sitting on shelves there. So I stopped at the liquor store down the street from my dad's and I looked around. And I didn't see it, and I was disappointed, and I was on a mission to find it. So I was like, fuck, this is going to suck, because I'm going to have to check 100 different liquor stores. My kid's going to have to sit in the car while his shady dad's in there trying to get his fix. You know, he's going to get pissed and everything. But I was like, all right, I'm thirsty. I'm going to grab a Dr. Pepper out of the cooler here, grab a Dr. Pepper, turn around. They've got 3 cases of it. A fucking open case sitting right there, $46.99 out the fucking door. I was super excited. I got home, I tried it, and it is fucking fantastic. So I am drinking Eagle Rare, which is a 10-year-old bourbon from Buffalo Trace.
Okay, hell of a deal. Nice.
Yeah, it's very good.
Rob's just getting dad drunk.
That's a good drunk to get, though, man, honestly. I am drinking, in honor of Chris being on the show, I've been drinking from the Thriller pack. I am nowhere near my button, and I have a bunch of things in the middle of my soundboard. The Thrill Me pack. And I picked what was the blood orange with the Jason mask on the can in honor of you being the biggest Friday the 13th fan I know, Chris. Boom. There you go. That's for you. I'm drinking this crappy cider for you.
I don't mind that one. That was my favorite. I still haven't tried the pumpkin one, but of the ones I've tried, I think that one was the best one. I wasn't crazy about it. But.
Yeah,
I don't drink a lot at home, but I do like ciders.
All right, that's fair. These aren't the greatest taste, for being honest. But again, something you have to own. Like, how do you not own them? They're incredible.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to buy it. I bought that pineapple soda because they put Michael Myers on the bottle.
That was a terrible decision.
It wasn't bad. I drank the whole thing like it wasn't bad.
No, I don't want to hear that. There's no way that is any good.
I drank the whole thing. When I bought it, I bought that and a Dr. Pepper because I expected to open up the pineapple soda, take one drink of it, and go, nope, fucking gross, and throw it away. And I didn't. I drank the whole thing.
Pineapple soda's not bad. Like if you mix it with like rum, it's probably not terrible.
Oh well, yeah, with rum it would have been better, but I was driving my way home, so I wasn't drinking rum. But
like that's ever stopped you.
I would say pick some up. Give it a shot. It's got Michael Myers on it.
Yeah, it's the cool part of it. Yeah.
I used to love my morning coffee until it stopped loving me back. The bloating, the discomfort, it just wasn't worth it anymore. Then I found Everyday Dose, coffee with benefits. It's real coffee blended with mushrooms, collagen, and nootropics. Now I get my morning ritual without the crash or the discomfort. The Black Friday sale is on. Get 61% off your first Coffee Plus starter kit, a free A2 probiotic creamer, and over $100 in free gifts. Plus, you could win $100 cash or even get your entire order refunded. Head to everydaydose.com/podcast or use code podcast at checkout.
I always feel the pressure to find the perfect gift for my relatives. In this case, whether you're sending an unforgettable gift or treating yourself to everyday perfection, Omaha Steaks delivers the world's best steak experience. For me, I'm not just into steaks. I like all types of meat. That's why I'll usually get the Winter's Best Seller Pack. It comes with juicy fillets, chicken breast, pork chops, and even burgers. Omaha Steaks offers unrivaled quality and variety, and every bite is backed by their 100% guarantee. A family-owned company with over 100 years of experience in the meat industry. Save big on unforgettable gifts with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide and earn an extra 20% off select favorites during their cyber sale. And for an extra $35 off, use promo code YUM at checkout. That's omahasteaks.com, promo code YUM at checkout. Terms apply. See site for details. Go to omahasteaks.com to get 50% off site-wide plus an extra 20% off select favorites and more limited-time deals during their cyber sale. And use promo code YUM at checkout for an extra $35 off. Minimum purchase may apply. See site for details. A big thanks to our advertiser, Omaha Steaks.
All right. 917-397-KILL.
Trace the call. It's coming from inside the house.
917-397-5455. You can send in a text message, a voicemail to the show. You can also get into this is the mailbag, by the way. You can also get into the mailbag by leaving a comment on Patreon or on YouTube is a good way to get in there too. If you leave a comment on our episode, not the other stuff, the actual episodes of the podcast. So all the voicemails get aired and we talk about them. We'll play them and talk about them. Everything else is read by Ghostface. All right. You know that this part of the show that I have to. Okay. We had to move things. See, now this one isn't my fault though, Rob, because we had to move stuff around for Killer Beats that we just recorded. So
Why?
hold on. Okay. I think we're good. All right.
I don't know why our numbers aren't going up.
I edited a lot of this out. Until you say some dumb shit like that, and now it's a conversation. I kind of got to leave it in. So it's your fault.
Hello, horror fiends. You know what time it is. Ghostface here with the Slasher Radio mailbag, and it's dripping with your darkest questions. The first message is from Carly on last week's Weapons episode. I'm so glad y'all liked this one because I did not. I was super bummed that it didn't land for me. I was pretty neutral coming out of the theater, but then the more I thought about the movie, the less I liked it. I really felt the runtime, even on my first watch. Def willing to give it a second chance, but I just didn't like it on the first watch.
Carly, I understand what you say. The more you think about the movie, the less you like it. Because the more I think about you, the less I like you.
What?
There
Do
you go,
not.
huh? Look, like I zinged her. I got her with a sick burn.
No, how dare you? You do not talk that way. Oop, God damn it.
What?
No respect.
Kind of fits, though. No respect there, Robert. No, you don't talk that way about Carly. No. Yeah, but Carly, Weapons, yeah, I liked it, dude. And, I kind of get that feeling, too, where everyone's in on something. Like, Weapons is very well liked, except for everybody but Carly and Greg, I guess. But so, like, that minute of, wait, what the fuck? Like, everyone's having a great time with this movie, and I don't like it. It is a weird feeling.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I don't like the Terrifier movies.
Yet you watched it like 12 times in a row.
I mean, I've seen it a lot, but yeah.
Still, you don't feel bad, though. You don't get like...
No, I mean, I don't feel bad about it. It is kind of baffling, though, to be like, why does everyone like this when it clearly sucks?
I like the movies, and you watched it more than me.
It's true.
Not my fault.
It's true. All right, next message.
The next message is from Spyro on last week's Weapons episode. Weapons was so good. Went in not knowing anything about the movie and had such a good time. Not very often a movie has me shitting myself and laughing out loud in such close proximity. And on purpose, too. Not 'cause it's that bad. Enjoyed. Also, Barbarian was so sick. Again, didn't know what it was about until I watched it.
All right. Spyro down with weapons. See, now we get conflicting reports here. Harley didn't like it. Spyro loved it.
Yeah, I think I've heard mostly positive stuff about it. There's a few people I've heard say they didn't like it. Barbarian, I think, got a much more mixed reaction from what I heard. Like, I knew there were a lot of people I heard just did not like Barbarian. So, you know.
All right. Fair enough. But I like Barbarian a lot. I seen a lot of people like Barbarian.
Yeah, no, there were a lot of people who liked it. There were a lot of people I also heard. I would say I heard about an equal number of people who said they didn't like it at all.
Wow. I can't say I have very strong opinions that I've seen these movies that I've never actually seen.
Good take though, Spyro. Yeah, I mean, he said Barbarian was sick, so I don't know if he liked it or not.
No, I think he liked it.
Yeah. Let us know, Spyro. Always good to hear Spyro. Oi.
The next message is a text message from Godzilla. Hello, Slasher Radio family. I definitely enjoyed the last podcast. I'm originally from Florida, where Cass is going to for Halloween Horror Nights. Friends and family say that the Terrifier house is the best, especially since Art the Clown showed up to a heavy metal concert not too long ago as well. I would love to see a trick-or-treat podcast of the film in a later episode this year. Hopefully. Also, the movie is re-releasing in theaters on October 14th and 16th, just in time for the anniversary, and possibly an announcement for a sequel.
Okay. Always good to hear from Godzilla. Love hearing
from Godzilla. It is.
I guess, like, in reference to him saying Art appearing at a metal concert, like, I think it was Silver Screen Con, like, while Ice Nine Kills was playing, like, Rhea Ripley appeared on stage, and then Art the Clown killed her.
Yeah, I heard about that.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I'm starting to get suspicious. I think maybe Godzilla is part of the marketing team for Trick or Treat.
Dude, he really likes Trick or Treat, but it's hard to blame him.
No, it's a good movie.
Trick or Treat's really good, and also I would be curious to know the age range of Godzilla too, right? Because a lot of context goes into how he viewed this movie. You know, like, did he see it when it came out? Is he, just getting into horror and like newly discovered it? Because when I first seen this movie, I mean, it was around when it came out, so it's a little different. But like, I was all about it too, man. They like Sam has a huge following.
Yeah,
so I'd be curious to see when you've seen it, Godzilla.
If I had to guess, and it's going to be completely off the cuff, I'm going to guess 24.
Yeah, probably around that range. Like just a range of maybe more so when you've seen it. I don't know if Godzilla's like a younger horror fan who's just getting into. I guess these are considered Trick or Treat's considered an old movie now.
I guess what year did it come out? 2000 what?
7 off the top of my head. Trick or Treat.
I was still working retail when Freddy vs. Jason came out, so.
Yeah, December 9th, 2007 was the release date of Trick or Treat.
Well,
there could be people listening to the podcast that were not even born when that movie came out.
For real, dude. That's why I'm curious, like, because if he's just discovering this movie, that's so much fun, dude, or also equally fun is having that experience when it came out, being able to see all this want for Sam for all these years, like they just have different passions to him. And I'm just curious which side he's on.
It was definitely one of those good anthology films that came out at that time, but especially like before like VHS kind of took over like the whole anthology like mainstream mentality.
Yeah. But yeah, that also Godzilla equally as curious. How long? I don't think you've been listening to the show very long. Ice Nine Kills. We had an interview with Spencer Charnas, the lead singer. Yeah, go listen to that, dude. If you're a fan of the song that they were performing was work of art, and we screened that and had a whole release for that. So you probably enjoy it.
Yeah, check it out.
And also the work of art, we actually did that a day early. Well, it wasn't a day early. It was a day early from the embargo, but it was like the same day that Ice Nine Kills released the song. They wanted us to wait an extra day, but I asked them and they said it was cool. So that's the outro for that episode too, which is just nice to be able to sit. That's a dope ass fucking song. And YouTube did not like that.
Oh yeah, I bet.
So yeah, but it's still up there. You can still listen to it.
That's nice.
Especially if you're an EYERCHRIS cultist, like you just got to go there because I was on that episode too.
You
just
were. You were. That's true. But yeah, Trick or Treat's dope, dude. And by the way, too, Godzilla, and everyone listening too, maybe yourself, Chris, like we mentioned earlier in the episode, next month's Patreon pick, we will ask for it to be Halloween themed. Trick or Treat could make it in there, man. Hopefully, I would love to talk about Trick or Treat. So hopefully it gets in there. All right, next message.
The last message is from Carly on the Sadness episode. This movie was just if 28 days later sucked. Like, that's how I felt about it. Something that does have to do with the episode. I absolutely hated every single second of the sadness. The effects and acting were really good, but the story was shaky, and overall it was too much gore for me personally. And, hi, Mikey. This has nothing to do with the episode, but I just rewatched The Conjuring and I wanted to let you know. I still love it, and it's incredible. Smiley face emoji.
God damn it. Carly.
All right. I'm back on board with Carly. We're friends again.
Pissing me off goes that far. Really?
Well, that and hating the sadness.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Well, okay. This is going to be a lengthy discussion here. Carly, the sadness was what it was. It's kind of the same. We were on the same length. Like, she at least acknowledged positivity about it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good.
It's a well-made movie. It's just the story doesn't hold up.
No, there's no story. But it was what it was. And Chris, you were the one that brought that to us too, by the way. You made that happen.
Oh, I know. I'm waiting for my dash moment here to talk about her other point that she mentioned.
Yeah, The Conjuring, Carly. No. Just no.
I don't hate the Conjuring films. I hate the subject matter, or more correctly, I hate the protagonists of the Conjuring films, because the best Conjuring film, which was part 2, involved the Warrens, who were involved in the case for all of the 30 minutes that it took for the family and the British investigators to tell them to go jag off.
Fuck those movies.
Maybe the Conjuring movies could be nominated for the next Patreon pick, which we're hoping will be Halloween themed.
Why? They're not Halloween themed movies.
Yeah, but they're scary movies, so we could watch them.
No, the Halloween themed movies, Rob. God damn it.
Could be.
In the middle of Greg Nicotero and all these people, you want to throw the Conjuring? Shame on you. Again, pissing me off knows no bounds.
I stand by The Conjuring and The Conjuring 2. Those were both good. That third thing was a nightmare of a movie that was a mess and shouldn't have existed, and I haven't seen the new one, so I can't. Yeah. The only thing, I don't like the Conjuring universe. I don't like the Nun and the Annabelle and all that horse shit, but I like The Conjuring 1 and 2 were good.
Should be ashamed of yourself. That's
the
disgusting.
worms are heroes.
Disgusting.
Rob, you don't want to go that level. Step down now. Unless you want another cursed VHS, because there's at least 15 more I have on you.
I'm just saying how they were portrayed in the film, and that if it's in the movie, it has to be true.
Stop antagonizing. The other point, though, to bring up about the sadness is there was a little something said on the Dummies of Horror podcast this week, wasn't there, Rob?
There was. They talked about our coverage of the sadness.
They did. Anyone who's listened to the show for a little bit should remember our war with the Aussies, the Dummies of Horror podcast.
Mm-hmm. Which we thought was over.
This goes out to the Dummies of Horror podcast. Fuck you.
Yeah, it was over. And now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, because we're just sitting here existing, talking about a damn movie, it was a disgrace what they did. They're back at it again. They made fun of the gabagool crap with the Italian stuff, too, by the way. That was brought up.
That part made sense to me, but the rest of it was uncalled for.
Focus, Robert. They went on about how we hated the movie and
wait. I'm lacking context here, Mikey. What are we talking about?
You know damn well you heard it before. Any patron is played on the Easter egg stuff, so you can go listen to that, or you can go listen to Dummies of Horror directly. Also, too. You should be doing that, by the way.
Very, very good show. Yeah, Dummies of Horror. You can find where listen to us.
Yeah. Everywhere you listen to the podcast, you can go find Dummies of Horror, and that's where you should go listen to it. Listen to it in its full context, and let them know what they did was an atrocity.
Yeah,
and they might have just rekindled the whole war.
I think also the important thing is we have, as we talk about the Dummies of Horror a lot, we talk a lot about Tim Davis.
Yeah.
But we need to really be focused on Luffy because he's the brains behind that operation.
The squirrely fucker?
Yeah, he's writing it, he's producing it, he's editing it, he's, putting up the posts and everything.
He's carrying Tim, is what you're saying.
Yeah, Tim is sort of the face of the whole thing, I think. But Luffy's the one behind he's like the wizard, he's the one behind the curtain pulling all the strings.
So you're saying I'm not wrong by having my orbital wombat cannon aimed at his house?
No, absolutely not. Luffy is the one who pulls the strings. Tim just does whatever Luffy tells him to.
Tim, you lazy fuck.
Yeah, it's really sad, honestly, that Tim grabs all the credit while Luffy does all the work. But so we might, as we go forward dealing with these guys, we might want to start looking at Luffy a little more.
Yeah, that squirrely, beady-eyed fucker. I know. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it was an attack out of nowhere, and it was completely false. Look, if you guys truly like that movie, and you know what the fuck you're talking about, which you normally do, except for the grudge shit too, Tim. But there's no way you could sit there and say that we didn't bring up valid points. We praised the effects. We praised the performances. Praised.
Mm-hmm.
You should thank Tim for stealing my bit by pulling the grudge, because that was going to be the end of the curse videos.
Well, we'll get into that in a second, Chris. There's some unfinished business there too. But honestly, we were so fair to that thing. We praised, not even just, glossed over, we praised those things. And we just pointed out that there was no story and it was gore for the sake of gore. Like, that's it. And that's true. So there was them going on saying that we wanted more love and this and that. It wasn't about that, man. We wanted purpose. Yeah. We wanted structure in a movie. And if you, Tim freaking Davis, hold on.
This goes out to the Dummies of Horror podcast. Fuck you.
And the beady-eyed one.
Fuck you.
Fuck you. And the beady-eyed one. If you can't recognize that, then that's on you. How dare you try and shame us and my poor nationality over this crap?
Yeah. I mean, although that part was okay.
Focus, Robert.
What part of your nationality was he poking fun of? Was he making fun of Americans? I must have missed that part.
Go listen to Dummies of Horror. You hear it all there. They should be ashamed of themselves for what they did.
They're back to acting like a couple of bin pigeons over there.
Bin chickens, yeah. Dirty, filthy, stinky, rotten bin chickens.
Yep.
I mean, to be fair, those bogans don't have an original thought. Everything they use against this show, they stole from me.
And okay, there we go. Perfect lineup, Chris. Remember, Chris, you listen to the show regularly. You are the bookkeeper of this show when it comes as far as lore and pretty much every damn thing. There was a quite sharp message left in the mailbag not that long ago from one Tim Davis who was talking shit, if I'm going to just be frank, about you, and you never really responded to that.
Oh, I'm aware. He knows what he did, but again, I'm recording from his crawl space, and I have the spiders and slingshots, and I know where he sleeps. Tim, you look so precious right now. I can almost reach from the roof and caress your hair as I place a huntsman spider on your forehead.
And shove one up his ass.
No, no. I want him. I want the bites on his forehead, so that he just always has a lump, and when he looks in the mirror, he just thinks of Chris.
You're gonna leave another one on his forehead. Yeah, that's right, Tim. Don't forget what happened last time. It's true. All right, I lost my entire train of thought talking about these sumbitches. Damn Dummies of Horror.
Yeah. Well, that's what'll happen sometimes.
Yeah, for real. All right, so we're going to kick you guys over.
Hold on. I got one other thing I wanted to talk about real quick.
Okay.
A little advice for everybody. So I was in Georgia, as I mentioned, went to see Fish, and I happened to notice that I was my dad doesn't live that far away from the town where they shot Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives.
Okay.
Decided maybe we could go a little bit out of our way. It's about 40 minutes out of the way, no big deal really. And check out some of the locations, but then I was like, well, there aren't really that many iconic locations in that movie, But I was like, well, we could go to the camp. Got online, looked it up, found where it was. Get to the camp. It's in a state park in Georgia. And I drove around for a while, finally found the park office. I was getting annoyed trying to find the park office. Turns out it was my fault. I got irritated and didn't read the signs right. But whatever, I was still mad about it. We drove past a golf course and I got a lot of mileage out of the Jason Voorhees plays golf there joke. My son loved it every time.
That's funny.
You laughed really, really hard every single time, as you can imagine. So here's the advice though. It turns out that the camp where they shot the movie is actually sort of a private camp inside the state park that they rent out to like corporate groups and stuff. So you need to call ahead if you ever plan to visit it and find out if it's rented out or not, because we spent all this time driving around this goddamn state park and everything only to find the office. And I did walk in and there was a girl there who looked like she was 22 maybe, and some guy there who looked like he was maybe in his 40s. So I said, I've got a weird question, and I'm sort of addressing the guy. I'm like, a long time ago, they filmed a Friday the 13th movie here. Wanted to check out the camp. I was wondering if you could tell me where it was. And the girl actually knew. She goes, yeah, it's not as weird a question as you'd think. We get asked that about once a month. Yeah, but she told me that it was rented for the week, so no one was allowed to go down there. She did say though, if you call ahead and check if it's not rented, they will give you a key that will allow you to go through. You can open up all the cabins. You can look at everything. She said it looks pretty much the same as when they made the movie.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, but
how much does that cost, or will they just let you do it?
She didn't mention a cost at all.
That's crazy.
That's cool.
They can charge $100 for that.
Yeah, but I did not get to see shit because there was some I'm sure some cult or something rented it out for some sort of weird ceremony or something.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, but I was close.
Damn. Yeah, you had told me you were going to do that and then didn't say anything else. So, all right. Interesting outcome.
Yeah, that's sort of how it panned out. And then I was kind of like, well, is there anything else from the movie to see? Really? I mean, there's that cemetery, but I don't want to drive around looking for a cemetery, So we just left.
Fair enough. Okay, so like I said earlier, we're going to kick you guys over to my discussion with Mike Robles. And on the other side of that, we are going to be giving our top 5 horror games of all time. Favorite, right? This is like a personal favorite we did, right?
Yep.
Robert?
Sure, I did that.
Okay. God damn it. What? All right. So here's the chat with Mike, and we will catch you on the other side with our top 5 favorite horror movies of all time.
Wait, what?
Did I say movies?
Yeah.
Horror games, whatever.
Is that because I did not do that? Okay.
No, I didn't do that shit either. What's up, man?
Nothing. How are you doing?
Oh man, busy.
A lot of good stuff coming out.
Yeah,
for sure. I'm excited too. I want to talk about loads of things, be it my career, be it horror in general, all kinds.
A little bit of both.
Yeah, which I'm excited for.
I am also drinking a can of Coke, so this is pretty awesome.
Excellent.
Same name, same drink. I mean, we got it going on over here.
Hell yeah, we do.
All right. Mike, again, we were just talking before. Well, we've been live, but whatever. Thank you very much for joining us, sir. I have a ton of things to hit on with you.
Yeah.
Because you just seem like my kind of guy. Just to run through, and correct me if I'm wrong, because the internet's usually full of shit.
Sure.
But
yeah.
Highlights of your resume that I was able to find: social media manager for Illfonic.
Yeah.
This is a social media reactive team lead for Microsoft and Xbox.
Yeah.
You were also a community coordinator for Microsoft before that, community manager at Lone Shark Games. What a resume, dude.
Yeah, and there's also community manager for Wizards of the Coast. So I worked on Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons. I created the Magic the Gathering Twitter account. That was me.
Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my little claim to fame there.
Yeah. I mean, definitely huge names there, like just things that people are into heavily.
Yeah, I've been around. I'm a little old, been around, and I've been doing community management and been in the video game industry 20 years. Been doing community management for about 15 of those years. Before that, I was doing QA, which is, just making sure that all the games are working how they're supposed to and no bugs. None of this, we'll do a patch later BS.
Well, you better than anybody would know. And really one of the bigger reasons why I wanted to talk to you is because I feel like the gaming community, and myself included, we're all fans of games and everything. They're a little, I don't want to use the word uneducated because it sounds
Fair.
mean, but
Yeah.
you know, it's also applies too. I think a lot of people just see titles and they don't exactly know what they mean. They don't know what they do. For better and worse, these roles, a community manager, a social media manager, a lot of people think they wear more hats than they do, and they don't
Yes.
even realize the hats that you guys do wear.
Yeah, for sure. There's a reason why you see a lot of a lot of brands post, "Don't yell at me, I'm just a community manager," like coming straight from the brand, right? Because you're right, they all think we do stuff. I remember, you know, and this is for most of the jobs I've worked, you know, we'll post a post and then we'll do the comments. Everyone's like, "Get back to work on the games." And we're like, that's not what we do. Like, my job is to talk to you, but all right, thanks, dude.
Right. And I see it a lot. And, you know, we post like at Slasher Radio, we're content creators and we post content about you guys' games. So we see it to a degree, you know, and like I'll scroll through the comments and go, Jesus Christ, just a lot of people not, and myself too, like I was saying, before getting into content creation and dealing with companies and people, and you learn a lot of things just by kind of the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
I found myself sitting there many times going, holy crap, I never knew that. And I feel like gamers in general need that, and it'll help bridge the gap between the games and the players. And that was, you know, seems to be what you did and still do. Can you explain just generally the role of a social media manager for a gaming company?
Yeah, and like, yes, we do wear many hats. However, it's not the hats that I think the audience thinks we wear. You know, our job is to post the content daily and then react to that content. You know, at a bigger corporation like Xbox, right? Like, Xbox had an agency that does those posts, and then my team were replying to the replies, right? So if somebody posted and talked about the hype when Xbox posted a trailer, and then Xbox was like, "Yeah, we're excited too," like, that was usually us, right? We wouldn't post the trailer, but we'd post the reaction to the reaction. A company like Illfonic, you know, we had 4 brands to take care of. We had the Illfonic main, like, corporate page. I say corporate in very loose terms because that page is not corporate at all, and that's by our choosing, right? Like, we made it that way. And then we had Predator, we had Killer Klowns, we had Ghostbusters. So we were not only creating all the posts for those. I had 2 guys underneath me. Both those guys are still there, actually. And then one of the guys underneath me has my old job, and, you know, I was happy for him. We actually had a really nice lunch after the layoffs happened, and I sort of like guided him with what I was working on. And so we created all the posts for all those brands, did the posts, did the reactions. At the meantime, also creating our own stuff. We had a team of asset creation, but if we need to, like, quickly record a Predator yell, you know, we jump into the game and get that sorted and use free camera or whatever and do that. You know, if you look at the trailer for like Killer Klowns and there's clowns chasing a bunch of humans, we're those humans running around. You know, at Illfonic, the nice thing about being an indie studio is we had direct line to the devs, so we could say, "Hey, we need this," or, "Hey, you know, is this working the way it's supposed to?" You know, so there's also a little bit of customer support in there too. So, I mean, so in general, that's what, like, a social media manager does. And depending on the role, like, I managed 2 dudes underneath me. So I was in charge of sort of the bigger stuff of like, "Hey, we've got this coming down the pipeline." Like, I was just in a meeting, you know, let's prepare for this. In addition to, like, editing and writing our own posts, writing my own posts, and then editing or, you know, giving feedback on the posts that are being written.
Okay. Another moment of me sitting here going, holy shit, I never knew that. Because that's awesome, dude. A lot, like, again, speaking as a fan of these games and a player, even thinking you know what people do because you look into it and you just see social media manager, never would have thought you guys would have had to do that much legwork of the content that goes out on top of it, which is wild. What's it like working with and getting, because that was always my thing, because obviously I have some on a very, very microscopic level of social media that I do. You kind of just see the images going up, and, you know, I've always thought of, wow, man, it's a really cool gig, but, you know, working with, you know, Friday the 13th, Kane Hodder and Killer Klowns and all these cool, the Kyotos and all that, you know, you would think a social media team would miss out on stuff, but no, you guys are actually in there working with these. What's it like being able to say, hey, we need this from this person, and getting involved with it on almost a development level at that point?
It's really nice, and I think Illfonic more than any place else, we were a lot closer to devs than we were, like at Xbox. Right? At Xbox, we had the whole, we were taking every game that's on Xbox, right? So at Illfonic, we were, weekly play tests, right? We were doing things where we were giving feedback every week, and like you're right, we are close to the devs because they were like, a Slack message away from us. We don't get to miss out on specific things. Like PAX East was a great example, not this previous one, but last year, where we were, this is the first time people can play the game. We flew the Kyotos out. I had dinner with them. I sat across from Ed, and he was a great time. And it was neat to be able to like talk to them and say like, well, what do you think about the game? How are you guys enjoying it? What do you like to see? So there's this, it's special. If it can be done, it's special. Not having to go through, layers and layers of legal or production or producers to get to an answer is really nice. And like I said, we had not only an asset team to be like, hey, we need this asset, we need like this cool image, and they would make one for us, or we'd ask them, hey, can we make a TikTok real fast? Like, is it cool if we just make our own? And we would give it to them to like and be like, hey, does this meet the standards? And then go and post it.
Nice. Yeah, and that's the cool thing. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Illfonic. I love, obviously, being a horror fan, they really hit close to home with those specific IPs. You have a game just for Killer Klowns, a game just for Predator, so on and so forth. What's it like getting that personal with those IPs? Because you're a horror fan as well, and we'll get back into that later. Because I really want to talk. I'm itching to talk to you about that.
Oh, we can talk about Yeah, I'm excited. We'll talk about that.
Being a fan of the genre, the way that you are, what's it like getting personal with these IPs? And really, not many other companies like Illfonic give you that opportunity.
Fair. It's really special. When Killer Klowns was announced, my team and I were watching, I think it was Game Awards when they announced it, or opening, or like or Summer Game Fest. When it got announced, I told my team, I was like, we need to keep an eye on all of their socials. Like, look at their socials. This is another 80s niche movie that's an ASIM game. We can have some fun with them. And so we started keeping an eye on their socials. We studied their socials for about a year. And then one day we're in a meeting, and they tell us, hey, like we're taking over publishing of Killer Klowns. And I was like, oh, well, who's getting the socials? And she was like, our VP is like, oh, Mike, you're getting the socials. And I was like, oh, let's go. I was like, good thing I've been studying them for a year.
Right.
But it was really nice, and it's really special to be able to be like, hey, like, can we ask the Kyotos, like, what's the vibe we're going for? What are we doing? Like, is it okay to be a little violent? Is it okay to take the clowns as like, humans, please come, let us eat you? Like, what's the vibe here? And being able to just have a direct line to those, and being able to sort of not only create our brand, but have fun going back and forth with the Kyotos of like, hey, how does it, like, is this on brand for you guys? And you do the same thing with Sony and Ghost Core, right? It was like, hey, is this on brand for you guys? Like, we had to, I don't know how much I can and can't say, but it's, we had to go through steps to make sure that the posts that went out were approved by everybody.
Yeah. And okay, because Killer Klowns, we've had Stephen Kyoto on this show. Huge fan of the movie growing up. Huge fan of him, even more so after getting to talk to him. Awesome guy.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Super passionate about his IP, rightfully so. My favorite, I was very pumped about the Killer Klowns game, but weirdly enough, my favorite thing that came from that game was the Twitter account. No bullshit.
That's awesome.
Now, and maybe nobody gives a shit about this, but I do, and I have you here, so why not? You said you guys were taking over the Killer Klowns. When did the social medias, when did that start? Was it at the launch of the game? Was it sometime after?
Oh, well, it was before the launch. We took over, I want to say 6 months before launch. God, if honestly hear this and just be like, why did you give away all our secrets? I don't work there anymore. No,
someone else's problem, right?
That's someone else's problem. No, it's the last thing is them getting mad at me. No, we took over. It was well after they had gone quiet for a while. It was when we took back over. So around launch, that was us.
Okay, I know what you're
from launch on, like from a little bit of pre-launch on. That was all us.
Okay, so you were one of the guys threatening me on that account.
Yes, always.
And you got in character, and you guys really made it so much more interesting and interactive, and I love that so much. And not, I don't want to throw any companies under the bus or anything, but Evil Dead, the game, which a lot of passion went into that, not knocking them at all. But man, I've always noticed that they lacked so much with their social media. You really heard nothing at all unless it was an update. And then you didn't even really hear anything if you interacted with that. And I was like, man, it just kind of, it's a layer that I think players don't even realize they're missing.
For sure. I consider us incredibly lucky that the prior social media folk there established a really great base. They had a really great base and foundation that we were able to take to the next level once it was in our hands. And I think we got really lucky with that. And of course I had the guy underneath me who's now the senior guy there, he's a huge fan too. So he already was coming into this a massive fan of the project. And I was like, I can do this vibe. He's also a big old horror nerd too. So this was a great place for him. And the fact that now he's going to be taking over Halloween, I'm sure he's just thrilled. And he is very quickly and able to get into the mindset of that genre, of that brand. He's good at what he does, and I, like I said, was very happy to hear that he's the one that took over my stuff when those layoffs happened.
Yeah, and does Illfonic, and I'm not trying to, we don't dig here or anything like that, but I feel like this is a general question. Do they look into, like, if you're applying for a job and you sit down for an interview, does it come up if you're a horror fan? Is that something they specifically look for, or it just so happens to fill in?
I don't think we specifically looked for it. You know, I when I was hiring there, I was like, hey, I'm a big fan of Ghostbusters. Like, I'm a big fan of Ghostbusters, big fan of Predator, like these movies I watched growing up. So I think it helps. And I know when I was hiring for a new guy, I was like, you know, you don't have to be a fan of horror, but it'll help. And even the interviews is like, how do you feel about 80s cheese? I was like, how do you feel about horror movies? I was like, great. How do you feel about 80s horror movies? Great. How do you feel about 80s horror movies with clowns that kill people? Great. What's this job for?
and that's awesome too. And I only ask because, you know, now talking to you and you're talking about the other guys that you worked with, and I've loosely spoken to a couple of people at Illfonic. They're all horror fans, and it's almost like, you know, it's a requirement along with a college degree, which is, you know, for fans like us, is great to hear, you know, like, you can feel the difference.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And is that something that you really focus on getting across when you take on these roles for like the Killer Klowns account and everything else?
Yeah, we definitely want everyone else to know that, like, hey, we're not just social media people, we're also fans of the brand. We are fans of the movie. You know, this is the same movie we had. I told the Kyotos, was like, he's going to be turning 9 soon, but my 6-year-old, that was the first horror movie he's ever seen.
Nice.
And he thought it was great. He gave feedback on the movie, which had me cracking up. You know that when they pie the cop and they go in to put the cherry on top, he looks over to me and goes, Dada, they forgot sprinkles. And I lost it. I was like, oh my God, you're right. So he gets it. And so, like, we are fans of not only the games we're working on, but the IPs we're working on. I think that goes for anybody in that space. I don't think if somebody is just getting a paycheck for a community manager job, they're really not in it. And that'll come across. Like, you'll see it come across in the posts.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I've always, especially, it started with Killer Klowns, and it's like you brought something on, and even Friday the 13th too, maybe I noticed it early on, their social media was a little punchy and, you know, digging into that vibe of what they had going on with Jason and everything in the camp. And I didn't really notice it until Killer Klowns, where I was like, man, you can really have fun on social media with these games, like even beyond the game. And that's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's what we strive for. We want people to be able to ask us questions and feel like they can interact with us. You know, we would go out and look for tweets that we can, like, threaten people, like, the clowns are gonna come get you. You know,
you got a few of mine. You did.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great.
It made my day a couple of times that I see other people having a blast with, like, even my friends are like, man, Killer Klowns said this to me, and it was really cool to feel like you almost feel like you're part of the family.
And that's what we strive for across any job, any role. Yeah, same thing at Xbox. When I was at Xbox, you know, I would talk to my team. Xbox, I ran a team of 9 people, 10. I don't remember. There's a lot of people. And I was like, you know, when you talk to this person, like, you need to understand that, like, this may be the only time they hear from Xbox, and it needs to be, you know, an absolutely positive experience for them. We need to have fun. We need to make sure that, like, we're doing the best we can. Because, you know, we have 16 million followers on Xbox, and we're talking to this one person. So we need to make sure that we're making their day.
Right. And when you, the difference in roles now, you have a social media manager and then a community manager. What are the
Yeah.
differences in those two roles?
It depends on the job, depends on the company, because when I was a community manager or a consultant or whatever for Xbox Game Studios, I was doing everything. So not only was I writing the posts, posting the posts, replying to the posts, I was also creating the Discord, in the Discord, talking to the community. A community manager is more of the person that talks sort of directly to the actual community within like Discord or forums. And then social media is, the people that talk to each other on social media. Depending on the company, depending on the role, that's sometimes the same person, or sometimes it's different people. So at Illfonic, we had community managers and social media managers.
Okay. And from what I understand, again, this is I'm hoping for a lot of moments of holy shit, I didn't know that. So correct me if I'm ever wrong going along here,
Sure.
because this is why I'm talking directly to a guy that knows it like the back of his hand. A community manager, part of that is bridging the gap between the players and the company, the people developing the game.
Yep.
What are those conversations like when you do have to sit down with the developers and say, hey, this is what I'm hearing? What are those conversations like?
They're normally the devs are pretty open. They really want to hear what people are saying about their game.
Right.
Some folks I have worked with in the past are already going through the internet and scouring tweets or posts about that, even though we told them they shouldn't. And then we would sit down and we did feedback, right? We had metrics that, and we would always bring up and talk about like, hey, community's unhappy with this. Hey, they want to see this. A great example when I worked on the Killer Instinct reboot is they announced TJ combo and everybody was really excited, and then the community hated the way he looked, right? They were like, he looks awful. He doesn't look great. He looks like just some boring MMA fighter. So I was able to take all that, hand it to my producers at Microsoft. They talked to the team at Iron Galaxy to be like, hey, we got a problem here. We don't like the way this, like nobody likes the way this looks. And they did a revamped his face, made him look closer to how he did in KI2 and KI Gold. And so usually people are really open to hear that kind of stuff. And that's, in most places I've worked, they've always been really, really, really open to that. When you work on a game like Magic the Gathering, it's got 20 years worth or 30 years worth of rules. Right. Sometimes the community hates a card and man's like, sorry. If we change this one card, we have to change 20 years of rules. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was going to be my follow-up question too. Obviously there's situations where things don't change. And I bring that up because a lot of people, as a horror fan, I'm sure are very aware of this. A lot of people with the new Jason look for Jason Voorhees and Jason Universe, a lot of shit going on about that.
Yeah. Yeah, so much so that they changed it. Like we saw a neat little revamp. Yeah.
Yeah, and at first that was another one, and I feel like they've been doing a lot better with their social media and a lot of their interactions and everything, which is great to see, because they seemed a little stone cold at the beginning. Maybe it was just them working kinks. We're not judging or anything, but that's what we've seen. People were complaining about Jason, the new Jason appearance from the second they tweeted it, and Sweet Revenge came out, and now like you said, we did see a revamp, and they are listening, is what people are like, holy shit. But what do you think the mindset, and I'm glad you brought up like Magic the Gathering, where there's so much lore and so many things that go into it. People just think, oh, change it, and you just wave a wand and it's done. And it's easy, but it's not. And there's a lot of things behind it. Is that predominantly the reason when things don't change? Is that usually what's behind it?
It's a number of factors, honestly. It could be we don't have the money to fix this. If somebody's working with external partners, right, that's like co-develop the game, we can be like, hey, we didn't have the money to fix this. We can't go out and say, hey, we don't have the money to fix this. It could be that. It could be because because of lore. Like, hey, if we change this one thing, it affects our entire, landscape of this game. And it could just be like, hey, we just can't fix this. Like, sorry. So it's usually a number of things why things don't change. It's never because somebody looks and says, nah, I don't want to. It's usually because there's a good reason behind it.
Right. And I feel like that's a big disconnect between players and gaming companies, where it's just such a negative tone immediately. And it's, from the community, where they just think they're not listening or whatever. And I always try and tell people that there are 0 companies in the world that want to piss off the people that they're trying to sell their product to.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And there's usually a reason.
Yeah. Yep.
Also, the gaming landscape, the way it is now, I mean, horror fans are eating.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
with everything that's happening, especially in the next year or so, even more.
Oh my God, we got Silent Hill F, Resident Evil Requiem, what else we got? The Hellraiser game. Yeah, it's horror fans eating good right now.
Yeah. Jason Universe, we were just talking about. We don't know anything about it yet, but yeah, they said something's coming.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah. So the next year or two are looking. We're pretty beefy.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, hell, even Black Ops 7. I don't know if you saw the trailer for Black Ops 7. We were when the initial trailer for Black Ops 7 came out. My wife turned and looked at me because we thought it was a horror game. She said, "Have fun." I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to." And then it was like Call of Duty Black Ops 7. She turned and looked at me and said, "Yep, have fun." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to." So like even that, like even it's horror. I love that horror is starting to seep into other things. So yeah.
And even have not seen I think I might have actually seen it. I'm not positive, but shooters, I'm probably the worst person ever at them. Like it's embarrassing. And my friends make me play Fortnite, which is I'm not any better at that. But even that, like they have Fortnightmares every year.
Fortnightmares is so good. It's one of my favorite things about Fortnite is Fortnightmares. I'm looking forward to this year. I've seen some leaks. Can't talk about them, but I've seen leaks.
Yeah. We nothing has been confirmed. So yeah. But get into Fortnightmares every year because I'm a horror nerd and I get to see cool ass characters and they cost me a lot of money, but I spend it anyway.
Yep.
But even something that is targeted towards such a young demographic gets into it now, which is great. And that was going to be what I asked you is we see like horror was, especially we seem to be around the same age, give or take. Growing up in public media, it was so taboo for a while where, you would have your horror movies, but you wouldn't really see commercials outside of the movies. There wasn't really any crossover. Now it's just flooding into the gaming world. I know what you did last summer. Just got Call of Duty, I think it was.
Yeah. The Fisherman got a skin. I didn't have the Call of Duty points for it. Otherwise, I would have got it. But yeah, Fisherman's there. He came with his own blueprint and his own execution. Yeah, it was super neat. It was super cool.
Yeah. We see Terrifier and just their horror is getting into games that has no business being in, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
What do you think from a community standpoint handling these games like you have, what do you think that landscape is like? Why do you think it's happening at the rate that it is?
So right around October, you start to see Christmas decor in stores. I think Costco's already have Christmas stuff up, and horror and the spooky season is starting to happen earlier and earlier. People are saying July 5th, spooky season starts. I've seen Halloween candies in stores already. A Spirit near me has opened already. So I think because we are sort of accepting the fact that spooky season starts earlier, we're starting to see more and more horror get into these sort of, the mainstream again. I mean, Sinners is number one at the box office. Terrifier 3 was the most number one movie for its opening weekend, which I think has never happened for an unrated horror film. Like,
right.
People are taking notes, and I was listening to the Sinners podcast where somebody's like, if you didn't know Sinners was a horror movie, like it threw you for a loop. And I think it's because of its sort of mainstream appeal, we're seeing it become more mainstream. And in fact, a lot of the movies that have been coming out in the last few years are appealing to those of us that grew up watching them. We've got new Screams, we got new I Know What You Did Last Summer, we got new Saw. So it's hitting that little bit of nostalgia as well as hitting that mainstream and becoming spooky season earlier and earlier.
Yeah, and it's great to see because and the best part is it's working. They took a chance on these things and it just seems like the return is going up and up and up and up. And what company doesn't want to see that?
I mean, not Scary Farm or Halloween Horror Nights have started already. Mickey's Oogie Boogie Bash started already, and we're still in August. Like, it's wild. I mean, I'm here for it because I loved Not Scary Farm and Halloween Horror Nights, so I'm glad to see them getting more time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I say it a lot where in competitive gaming, where we were talking about shooters and everything, and you see these leagues and tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars being thrown around.
Yeah.
It's getting easier too, but it was always so hard to market. You can look at a game like Dead by Daylight where, you're putting commercials out and ads on YouTube and all these things. It's hard to throw up a commercial of Victor popping out of a woman's chest, and trying to in front of kids and everything.
Yeah.
But it's getting, not that you could ever do that, but it's getting easier to market these things.
Yeah, and it's a horror convention that happens. We're in Washington. We're lucky now. We get 2 horror conventions a year, which is really neat. But there was one where we were walking around, and, like, my kid knows who Leatherface is. He knows who Ghostface is. He knows who Fred Krueger is. He knows who Jason is. Like, he will point out and recognize them. You know, he used to walk around. He was, I think, 5, and he walked around going, "This is my boomstick" to any villain that walked past him.
That's amazing.
So it's neat, and it's not because I've shown him these movies. He has seen them in games like Dead by Daylight. He's seen me watch Dead by Daylight. He's seen me, he's seen the parodies that happen in like Teen Titans Go of these characters, and I'll laugh and be like, what's funny? And I'll be like, oh, this is this parody of this, So it's horror is doing a good job of like seeping into children's programming and the masses. And I think they're doing well enough to in a way to not offend people, which I think is great.
Yeah, and I think that was always the connotation that it had, that it was offensive. But it's like,
Yes.
no, it's fun, and I think
Yeah.
a lot of people are starting to see that. And my daughter is she's into horror, but not like she's more of a casual fan, which I guess I can
yeah.
live with. But she loves. I remember sitting with her and explaining to her The Walking Dead, because there was
Yeah.
no way, hell or high water, I was missing that every Sunday. So she would see it and she was scared of it. And if you present it in the proper way, just like anything, you can work with it. And I remember sitting and explaining to her that they're not real, and the makeups,
Yeah.
and then she started getting into makeup heavily as she got older.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's good that they're able to do that, and it comes across, and again, it's working.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's working incredibly well.
Yeah. And as this grows, the horror gaming world grows, is there any do you have anything that like a vision that you would like to see? Like, is there anything that you've always kind of looked at and said, man, as this grows and as we're getting all this stuff, here's something we can do to take it to another level as far as getting like the communication with the fans?
I tried doing this at some of my recent jobs, and I still think this would be a neat thing. But I think at places like Halloween Horror Nights or Not Scary Farm, having a gaming space where like a company can go in and you can demo their game. If you look at the PAX Capcom Resident Evil booths, those things are full on like it's the Raccoon City Police Department. You sit down on a computer and play the demo. And I think it's incredibly cool to do something like that. And so if you were to like go to a horror convention and there was a dedicated horror gaming space, that'd be really neat. I think that'd be really neat. So that's sort of where I want to see this go is, you can game at Scary Farm for a little bit while you're waiting for something,
That would be amazing. Yeah, I 100% agree. And there's enough of it out there, like the Call of Duty could even get in on that. It's not a horror game and it's in a horror space, but you just got The Fisherman from I Know You Did last summer. Throw it on some consoles in front of couches. I mean, it works.
Yeah, for sure.
So what are some of your go-to games? Like just when you're sitting on the couch at home and you turn on your computer, your console, what do you play?
What am I normally? I'm mostly a console gamer because I like sitting down at the on my couch and playing games. I play a lot of Fortnite and Call of Duty. I play games because I'm old and because I have an almost 9-year-old. I really only game for like 2 hours a night. I want to play something that's like quick and easy. When it comes and something I don't have to use my brain for, which is something like Fortnite and Call of Duty. I'm not saying those games, like those gamers are brainless. It's just I just got to go shoot something. I'm fine with that. Like, give me that stuff. I've been getting into Dave the Diver recently because it just came out on PlayStation Plus, I think a month and a half ago, and that's been a really cool game. I'm playing the demo of Coin Pusher. It's like this. It's like those coin pusher machines at an arcade. It's basically like a deck builder. You pick up your different coins and bonuses that you want, and then try to like beat the levels. It's really neat. It's from the same company that I think that made Balatro, so it's really cool. I recently booted up Fallout 4 New Vegas because the trailer for Fallout Season 2 got me hyped for that. So it's gonna dive back into that world for a little bit. Yeah, and then what else? I played a bunch of Expedition 33. I don't even know what's coming out. I just whatever shows up on Game Pass, or if my friends say, "Hey, here's the code for this game I made," I'm like, "Great, let's play it."
Nice.
Yeah.
Interesting though, because on Twitter you do have a Dead by Daylight shirt on your pinned tweet.
Yeah. Oh yeah, my pinned. Yeah.
Do you get into any DVD or no?
I used to play a lot, and I sort of fell off for a while. I recently logged back in to get my 5 million blood points.
Yeah. They did have to give that out.
Yeah, yeah. So, but I sort of felt fallen off that wagon for a little bit. I forgot my pinned tweet has that shirt on.
It
Yeah,
does.
yeah. I used to. I was a big fan of Scratch Mirror Myers. Was my favorite. That's my favorite to play.
I was going to ask, were you a killer or survivor main when you?
I was a killer main. I was a killer main, and unless I was playing with friends, and then I was a survivor main. And I was usually playing Bill in his Christmas sweater because that was my favorite. I have a build with Bill that's just all about. I call it the bonk build, where it's like head on, and I can't remember what else. It's whatever I can do to just annoy the killer.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
very fair. That is a fun thing to do.
Yeah, it really is. But I was definitely a killer main.
Okay, nice. The asymmetrical horror space, though, it's taken on so many layers, and there's been attempts at new takes. I mean, Dead by Daylight's kind of like the king of it for quite some time now.
Yeah.
And it's a 4v1. You've seen TCM try it with the 3v4.
Yeah.
Friday the 13th has had its take. Killer Klowns is very similar to the playstyle, sort of, kind of.
Yeah.
What do you think of the landscape of asymmetrical horror now as a player and consumer, I guess, but also as a professional in a community management? How do you feel it's translating to within the community of gamers? Because there's so much back and forth about it. And it's, correct me if I'm wrong, because I always say it's really the asymmetrical horror corner of gaming that it gets so rowdy talking about these topics of these games. Is that the case too? You know what? You might be the best person to settle that once and for all.
You know, I think anytime a new ASIM game is announced, everyone automatically goes, "This is the DBD killer." It's like, well, DBD is going on their 8th or 9th year at this point. Like, clearly, no game's gonna knock them down, right? They've been doing it for this long of a time. They know what they're doing. They're trying new things to keep people playing. I'm a hey, let's just game and have fun kind of guy. Like, if there's a new game that's gonna come out, I'm gonna try it. You know, I'm gonna try it and check it out. I'm gonna see if it's fun. I'm gonna see if I like that style of it. I thought with Clowns 3v7 was a really neat concept. I thought for TCM that 3v4 was a super cool concept. I liked seeing the instead of one versus many, seeing many versus many. I thought that was really cool. So I think there's room for all of them. I think all have their communities and all have their pros. And I wish people can just stay in their lane when it comes to games they like, because everyone's so quick to shit on other games. It's like, you haven't even tried it. You haven't even played it. You haven't played it yet. Like, it might not be your style. Doesn't mean you got to shit on it.
I agree 1,000,000%. and it always aggravates the hell out of me, because when TCM, and that's the other thing too, the whole this game is killing DVD. Nothing is killing DVD. DVD has at this point right now, as we stand, a 9-year head start on every other game. You know, that alone is hard to overcome. Nothing's going to kill DVD at this point. Times do change and things do change, but a singular game will not do that. And people need to let go of that and end it
for sure.
For all. I agree. Also, yes, that is true too, where I was just having this conversation with somebody the other day, and he's a DVD like partnered content creator. And we agreed Dead by Daylight fans should want competition for their game.
Yeah.
Competition with anything is better. And, you know, I even pointed out when Texas Chainsaw was ramping to come out, what did we get from Dead by Daylight? Alien, Chucky, Nick Cage. You know, they're aware of competition. You know, it makes them better. It makes anybody better when they have competition.
Yeah.
No, I agree. There's a lot of negativity about games before they're even out.
Yeah.
People make up their mind. What is it like that on a community end? Because you guys are the ones that have to deal with it.
You know, we ignore them, right? Like, we're not going to engage with somebody that shits on somebody else's game. That's not what we're here to do. We're not here to make fun of other games. We're not here to talk about other games. Like, we are here to be friendly. We were at Paris Games Week a couple years ago, and there were Dead by Daylight cosplayers playing. I think it was Ghostbusters. We were there for Ghostbusters. They were playing Ghostbusters, and so like we tweeted from Ghostbusters account. You know, I think we were like, what the killers do, because it was like a Myers, a Legion. I think, and I can't remember who else, but I was like, what killers do when they're not hunting survivors, right? And we tweeted that picture hilarious. Out. And Dead by Daylight was like, it said something like, oh, that's so cool. You know, when Ghostbusters had, you know, this pretty decent character creator in Ghostbusters, somebody joked about putting Dwight in a flight suit. And so we made a character that looked like Dwight. We had a little name tag. It said Trapper. And we
That's
posted
awesome.
and Dead by Daylight was like, wait, someone get Dwight on the phone. Like they replied to us and we were like, yeah, let's like here's Dwight in a flight suit. So, we're here to have fun and they clearly were having fun with it too, right? So
Yeah.
it's yes, competition is good, and we want to just have fun and talk about these other games and talk with these other games, And of course, the rumors would start up. Oh my God, DBD X Ghostbusters, and we're like, no, we're just two brands having fun with each other.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's awesome to hear because I didn't see that back and forth. I have seen behavior do it with several companies, which is great to see.
Yeah.
And I guess that's another question that's pretty good for you as well. Like the interactions you do have from quote competition, competitors, because I feel like the players of these games and the gaming community take that, almost turn it to a rivalry that doesn't even exist within, because any, Killer Klowns, for example, anybody, if Dead by Daylight's doing well, they're kind of the face of that asymmetrical horror lane. If they're doing well, that means other games are probably going to be doing well. It's better opportunity. So
for sure.
Can you just speak to that a little bit too? I mean, you kind of did already, but maybe just to reinforce a little more, like the companies themselves, there's no rivalry and you guys are just trying to have fun and make great things. And maybe you'll push each other to do something, to do better too along the way.
Yeah, I feel like everyone's just trying to do their own thing. I was just trying to make their own money, right? Like, and when, let's say, Halloween comes out, it was like, this is great, and then we see a dip in DVD because people want to check out Halloween, and there could be a thing where people who play Halloween have never played Dead by Daylight, they want to go check Dead by Daylight out because that's one other place you can find Myers. Same thing with players on Dead by Daylight. They're like, I want to see what Myers plays like in Illfonic's game. There could be a lot of that sort of like player swap. And then everyone will either go back to their respective games or keep playing both. I think there's room for people to play these games. Like I said, I play both Call of Duty and Fortnite. Both have battle passes. Both are live service games. They're two games that I enjoy. There's room for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even think to ask you about that, but it is something that gets brought up so much in the gaming community, and there's so much more positivity that could be going around that I think is not in between companies. And there are people out there looking to kill games before they even get started just because they like another game, and it's absolutely wild.
Yeah.
But horror movies, though,
yeah,
you said you're a horror fan. I need to know what your go-to, not favorites because that's hard, but some of your just go-to franchises might be an easier answer.
I grew up watching the Freddy films, and so those are always sort of a go-to for me. I like to jump on Shudder and see what's on there. Yeah, I think I watched Terrifier 2 a few times over the last couple of years. That movie, I think it's 30 minutes too long, but it's still a great movie, and it's one that I just sit and watch. Yeah, I mean, franchises, I'll sit and watch just about anything. I was recently, I think I was on Tubi watching the Class of Nukem High films because I was like, I'd never seen these before from Traumas. Let's check these out. I'll just watch just about anything if somebody recommends it to me. I still haven't gotten out of the theater to see Weapons yet, and I really want to.
Oh, you need to.
And then Hell House LLC just came out. I want to see that one too. There's a ton of movies I need to see still.
Yeah, Weapons is phenomenal.
That's what I've heard. I really want to check it out. It's hard being unemployed and then making an excuse to go see the movies, because it's like $50 for myself to go to the movies. I'm like, I can't justify that.
You're not lying.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up because I did want to ask, is community management, social media management, is this something you're looking to get back into because you have such an extensive career with it? And if so, okay, so what are you looking for then?
I'm applying to anything and everything right now. Like it's gaming is rough, and then that's where my resume sits, is in gaming, right? And it's rough out there. They had something like 300,000 layoffs in 1 year, and someone please fact check me because I'm sure I'm wrong, but it was the insane amount of layoffs that happened. Even an indie studio like Illfonic, when I thought we were doing great, turns out we had to lay off 25% of the company, and it was a lot. And so it's hard. And then getting back out there, you're like, I'm now having to explain a gap in my resume. And I'm like, well, what have you been doing? I'm trying to find work.
Right.
I would love to work. Honestly, I'd love to work in horror. I was joking. I was volunteering for a horror convention here, and I was quote unquote a celebrity handler. I sat at a celeb's table and took money and chatted with them all weekend. It was Ogre from Skinny Puppy, also plays Pavi in Devil's Rejects, Devil's Carnival. He's Pavi in Repo, and he's the twin in Devil's Carnival. Before horror nerds come yelling at me, And we were talking, I'd been laid off for a little bit, and he was talking about like what I want to do. And I was like, look, I want to get back into horror, but I have an extensive resume, and nobody in horror is going to want to pay me $120,000 a year. He said, he looked at me, he goes, Mike, you're absolutely right. So I'm looking just about anywhere right now, because that's I have a big resume, and that's what I was making at certain places, and it's one of those things where it's like that's the money I need. I got used to that lifestyle.
Absolutely. Yeah. No. And that's a topic that goes up a lot as well about with the with the layoffs and everything, and you see it come up a lot with these gaming companies, and it's as well as the industry seems to be doing, it's just that it seemed like, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, like with COVID there was such a boom because what the hell was anybody doing but sitting at home playing video games?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and there was a lot of ambition there to grow off of that may have worked in some places and did not. But yeah, I feel like it's an industry thing, like just
for sure. Yeah. Oh yeah, everybody's got hit hard even the last couple of years. Like I said, a large number of layoffs across many companies that continue to happen. I think like
even companies shutting down.
Yeah. I think like 2K that was working on the next BioShock like let go a bunch of people. So it's it's rough out there, and I wouldn't mind staying in gaming because that's where I've been. I would like to be in gaming and horror. I think it'd be really neat. But I understand that like gaming's tough right now, and I'm getting I'm getting rejections every day for jobs I don't even remember applying to. That's how often I'm applying to jobs.
No, I definitely understand that, because I feel like it's really not even just the industry. The gaming industry probably is one of the most affected, but yeah, throughout the country, I feel like it's hitting pretty hard. I felt it recently myself, and it's fucking shitty out there for sure.
It sure is. Is.
But someone who is proven, and and that's the thing too. You would hope that these companies would, they know that, they're very aware of that, and gaps and everything should be a lot more understandable in 2025 more than ever, especially in that industry.
Yeah.
But having the innovation that you've shown throughout, like, I keep going back to the Killer Klowns because that, like I said, that a social media account for a game has made my day a couple of times, which is something you would never think you would hear of, because it's usually bland updates with a bunch of codes and whatever else, and that's really all you got. And it's evolving, and I feel like you were a part of that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we had a good time with that one. That was one we had a lot of fun with. I would give ideas to my guys to run with. Like when we showed off the camp map, I was the one that was like, hey, I want this done like a morning announcement. I was like, I want like a morning announcement style for this. And that's all I said to my guy. And he ran with it and made an incredible trailer for it. His voiceover for that map was perfect. And all I said was like, hey, just give me like a camp morning announcement. And it was fantastic. It was one of my favorite ones that was done.
Yeah. And again, just the moments of holy shit, I didn't know that, like you guys being behind that. Yeah. Because, as players, we just think there's some development team making all these characters move and all that stuff, but it's you guys really kind of manning that ship. And and it's what we see, it's what we know of the game, especially early on, like when Killer Klowns released and all those things. Like, Predator, I think, is another game that doesn't get the attention that it deserves, and you guys did a phenomenal job with that as well.
Yeah, I think in the announcement of like us getting the publishing rights back or whatever was said, like getting it back was very, very good for Illfonic, I think, and being able to like continue to add more spice to that game.
Good for the game as well, because I just started playing Predator. A friend of mine got me on it.
Nice.
I want to say about a month or two ago, and it was a PlayStation exclusive for a while, so I never got to play it.
Yeah.
By the time it released everywhere, I forgot about it, to be honest. And Illfonic, like you guys really brought it to everyone's attention again, and the game's making a comeback.
Yeah, I think so. And I think they just announced they're putting out a Predator from the animated movie that came out. I think is really cool. I'm sure we'll see more from them because they haven't really stopped putting out different Predators. I think that's really neat.
Yeah, things being worked on is even when a game you think isn't going to be performing anymore, and you still see that constant of work going into it. It's inspiring as a player, you're like, holy shit, these guys are really sticking with us.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Mike, I appreciate your time so much today, man. You taught me
Hey,
things.
thanks.
You provided so much insight.
Good. I'm glad. Happy to be there for that.
I have one last question. Is there
Sure.
anything that you think that we didn't touch on today that you think players should know, whether it be when interacting with the social media accounts, about the game itself in general? What is something important that you feel is missed out?
We see and read everything. We
Everything.
know what's being said about us. We know what's being said about the games we're working on. Uh, we know if you talk shit about us one day and then ask us for a code the next. Like we see that stuff. We see what's out there. And I think most people don't realize that if you have mentioned a gamer brand, even without adding them, we have seen it and we know what's being said.
So that is really interesting because
I want to be ominous. I didn't want to sound ominous, but that's how it came out.
a little bit, and I love it.
Yeah.
So you say everything, and that's something too. A lot of people think because they don't get a response, it's just like thrown under the window. You said you handled the Magic the Gathering page. That's 400,000 followers. Xbox 20 something million. Whatever.
Yeah. Wow, it was 16. It was only 16 million when I was there. I'm glad they got that. But yeah, I think we managed to see a lot. We see, maybe we don't see all 24 million, but also not everybody's active at that time. But we see a lot. We see what's being said. Sometimes we just can't say something. We may be just as frustrated as you are about something going on, and we just can't say something. Sometimes you're not ignored. Sometimes we bookmark things that we're going to come back later. I really want to say who did it? Somebody, when they were like, HBO needs an app, right? Like HBO bookmarked those and then years later responded to those and were like, here's like a month free of HBO Max or whatever, right? Like there's companies that do that stuff. I think I'm pretty sure we bookmarked some early Killer Klowns people that when the game came out, we were like, hey, you mentioned this like forever ago, and like would respond to those tweets from like months ago. So yeah, we see lots of things.
That's a really good feeling kind of scary too.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But I mean, it's good to know that, it gets seen.
Yeah. It gets seen. We may not respond to it, but we saw it.
Nice. That is awesome. And that's another thing you see going on in gaming a lot, like people just spam the same thing because they didn't get a response.
Yeah. Or create new Twitter accounts because of it. Yeah.
I seen a little PTSD in your eye there.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
But I really hope that listeners can take something from that and have learned something and can improve, even if it's improvement on how they treat some of these accounts, how they view some of these accounts.
Yeah. Like, and the joke is like, I'm just the intern. Like, no, we're not interns, but we're real people behind that. Like, we're real people behind a lot of these accounts.
Yeah, and that's another thing I feel people don't, because people are just so quick to act like you guys aren't like there's a robot sitting on the other end replying to these things. There's human beings with lives and families and bills and all these like normal people.
Yeah,
and I hope that if nothing else gets taken from that, other than you're super insightful and I love it so much. Like I'm a nerd for things like this, like learning something new, learning the other side of a coin is super valuable to me. And I love that. And I hope everybody else does too.
I hope so too. I get hit up a lot for people want to talk and they don't follow through. So I'm glad we were able to both follow through on talking about community management, but also horror in general, right? Like there's a lot there. I've been listening to the Dark Universe soundtrack because it hit streaming services today, and it's like finally I can hear Danny Elfman's Dark Universe soundtrack, and I think it's been really cool. So we get excited about things that are not solely our work, and we get excited about these other things that people are excited about, and we see all that's said, and if we could, we'd reply to everything. Sometimes we just can't. Sometimes we just don't want to. We'll look at an account and be like, oh, we can't reply to this person.
That's a real thing too.
That's a real thing.
There's no rule book. It seems
no, there's real. I mean, there's kind of a rule book, but at the same time, like there's no real rule book. It's we have this thing where it's like we will somebody we want to reply to somebody, we'll look to see what their timelines look like, and if something that we're like, oh, that's not safe for work, like might not be able to reply.
Yeah, and I feel that as well. I had an account follow me the other day, and I blindly followed back. I was like, "Oh, a lot of followers. This is good interaction." And I opened it and said, "Holy shit!"
Yeah. There were times when there was it would be in Slack. It would be like, "Do not look at this profile with this name." They added us. Please do not reply to this one. or just do not open the profile. Yeah, for sure.
It is great to hear those because you guys are normal people, man. And I think people forget that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I hope it was able to open eyes. I hope we can do it again for sure because this was a blast.
You let me know. I'm not working right now. You let me know.
I'll bother you. Don't think I won't.
Yeah, please do. Yeah,
please
do. Please do. Thank you so much for having me. This was awesome. This was awesome to talk about this stuff.
Yeah, and also, we are horror movies, but also horror gaming. I above all that, I do hope that this conversation was able to educate some people on things and everything that we talked about already, but also people to check you out and see what you've done and what you've been behind, and that above all else, that would be nice as well.
Yeah, talk to me about horror. I collect vinyl records. I do a lot. I'm tweeting about something stupid usually.
That is the one reason I never want my co-host Rob around, but he is a vinyl it's insane the amount of vinyls he has, and he was actually looking forward to talking to you about that.
Oh no, we'll talk about some other time.
We got to do it again, absolutely.
Target's coming out with a new compilation for Halloween, and we can talk about that when that drops. I'm down for that.
Oh, he complained about that to me already.
He complained?
Well, he complained about the money he spends.
Fair. Okay, stuff. That's fair.
Yeah,
I was excited. I was like, am I going to add a 4th Halloween compilation to my collection? Yes, I am. Let's do this.
It would not be 0 times that he has not paid attention during our recording because there was a vinyl auction going on. It's not 0.
Oh man. I would love to have that conversation. I used to be a part of vinyl auction groups. That's hilarious.
Oh yeah, and it's great. Mid-recording with him in a bad mood because somebody outbid him and it went too high. Yeah, that's a great time.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's awesome.
I'll let you guys have that conversation. But yeah, we got to do it again, dude.
Yeah, let's do this again. This was a ton of fun. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. We will definitely be in touch. I appreciate your time so much, man. It thanks a lot.
Awesome. We'll talk soon.
Absolutely, bud. Have a great rest of your night.
You too. Bye.
All right. That was a cool discussion and a little peek behind the scenes of what goes on at some of our favorite games and all these companies, which I think, like I said during the discussion, there's so many people are so quick to blame these companies for things and, kind of just jump all over them. Like gaming companies get it pretty rough, man. And I think this is a good look behind that and what goes on their end that people don't think about, man, before they jump on Twitter or Reddit or whatever. And they're like, oh my God, you have the worst game ever. Fuck you and your cat or whatever the hell, they say to these companies. And yeah. So
are you saying that people on the internet react to things without stopping to think about it rationally?
Look, I know it's hard to believe that.
Yeah.
But that
seems like a wild statement, Mikey.
Could not imagine. I'm not even going to say it. But yeah, so everything, you can follow him, by the way, everything at the Mike Robles on everything. Twitter, Instagram, it's Robles, by the way. Give him a follow. Also, a guy with a ton of experience at huge fucking companies handling really big fucking games, looking for another position somewhere. Definitely, it's super knowledgeable too. Might want to give him a call. But yeah, 5 favorite horror games of all time. Does anybody want to start?
You're the guest, Chris.
Chris, would you like to go first?
I can definitely go first since historically I've been this podcast game guy since I wrote the most game reviews on the old site.
It's true. True. You hid demonic taint in all of them, correct?
As far as you're aware, yes.
God damn. I cannot prove otherwise, can I?
No, you cannot.
All right, so start us off hot, Chris. What's your number 5?
Number 5, I mean, I have several honorable mentions and others that are just personal favorites, but number 5, as far as most effective horror games go, I would say would be Alien Isolation. The fact that when this game came out and if it had an option to where if you had the Xbox Kinect hookup, the microphone on your Kinect would be on at all times, and the alien in the game can hear you through your Kinect and would track you down based off
what
any sound you made in the game.
Oh, I don't like that. That sounds like Bill Gates is listening to you.
That's immersion, though, dude.
Nah,
like that's really dope.
That's Bill Gates sitting around listening to you. Want to see
like,
what he can
like,
hear.
like if you screamed or gasped too loudly, it would hear you, and like even if you were hiding like in a locker, it would like run to the lockers, look at him, and then just rip you out of it and gut you like a fish.
Rob, what are you worried about Bill Gates? All he'll hear if he listened to your living room is a couple of farts, well, probably a lot of farts, and the occasional porn video on the couch. What are you worried about?
I don't need Bill Gates hearing that. Listen, I don't know what he's doing. What's he doing while he's listening to me?
You know what he's doing while he's listening to you.
Keep his pants on.
He's billing it.
But Alien Isolation is an awesome game, and that is not on my list, Chris, but would be in it is 100% my honorable mentions, for sure. That's a good one. And they're making an Alien Isolation too. Are you aware of that?
I'm aware of that. Like,
yeah,
the Alien Isolation, like the first half of that game is just so mind-numbingly terrifying. Like, there's times you're just scared to leave a room just because like you have no idea where the xenomorph is, and you're wondering where it's at, and God forbid if you knock anything over, it's going to come running in your direction.
Oh yeah. All right. My number 5. And by the way, it's also worth mentioning too, the three of us, very different game interests, so this should be a pretty diverse list, and I like that a lot. My number 5, and this is more of like it was a really good game, so it's like kind of mean to say this because I don't mean it this way, but it's kind of like an honorary spot in a way, but it was a really good game. It was a groundbreaking game. And it's probably the reason we have horror games in the way that we have them today, or at least as fast as we got them. Because this movie put, arguably, Silent Hill's in there too. I don't know if we'll get to that later between you guys. But this is one of them that was there too. Resident Evil, the original Resident Evil game, number 5. Solid. Come on.
Resident Evil, the first game, was definitely one of the first ones that I had when I had the old PlayStation. I would say part 2 is maybe more effective for me, but the original Resident Evil still has a huge soft spot in my memory as far as nostalgia goes.
Yeah.
I never played it. I saw that shitty movie, but I never played the game.
Well, the movies and the games are very different. The games were, and by the way, too, I just looked it up. Silent Hill, which is praised for its, it being such a groundbreaking game in horror gaming, and rightfully so. No shade on it whatsoever. But Silent Hill came out February 23rd, 1999. Resident Evil, March 22nd, 1996. Three years sooner. Groundbreaking game. And I like this a lot more than Silent Hill. Silent Hill, also, spoiler, not on my list, but an honorable mention.
No, I also never played that, but also saw the shitty movie.
I would say Silent Hill was probably the first game that popularized the survival horror genre. Like, there were other games like the original Alone in the Dark, if I'm remembering correctly, came out before that had that same model, but the original Resident Evil was the one that brought survival horror to mainstream mentality.
Yeah, it was successful, like blew up, and it showed you can make money with these things, which what companies care about, obviously. So yeah, solid number 5, I believe. Robert, what's your number 5?
Well, I think as the show's expert on horror gaming, I'm gonna come in strong with
hold on, wait, I'm not letting that slide. Bullshit. Proceed.
I'm gonna come in strong with the Friday the 13th game for the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Hell of a deal.
Old school Friday the 13th game. It looks real stupid, but it was just a dumb amount of fun when I was a kid. I loved that game. And as goofy as it looks, it would jump scare the shit out of me when I walked into a cabin and Jason was there for some reason.
Yeah, solid. Not mad. Chris?
I want to be mad that the fact that an LGN game made this the top 5 list, but I can't necessarily fault Rob for that. The original Friday the 13th game is still iconic to this day. The fact that it had its own skin in the Friday the 13th game that was released
Yeah.
by Gunn. The fact that you can go to Spirit Halloween today and find the retro game mask, like I can't hate it, but on a personal level, I don't think it's a good game. But
Oh, it's a blast. I'd play that shit right now if I could.
Those games were stupid hard too. Like, you know, that we got to keep in mind
Well,
the era that game was. But for horror gaming,
I
dude, that was
I grew
big.
up I grew up in that era. Like when you when people talk about hard games, like are we talking hard games or are we talking Nintendo hard? Because those are two
Nintendo
different
hard.
genres.
Yeah.
Because everybody's like, oh, this is the new Dark Souls of gaming. Like you never tried to play Ninja Gaiden without a Game Genie back in the day. Like
Right, those games are impossible, dude.
Yeah.
Like they were not meant for you to finish them.
Yeah, but we had Jason on the screen, you know. And I'll say this: I was watching a friend of the show, Boogeyman, Mr. PSL, Rob from Chicago.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
yeah. I was watching him earlier. He just got an Atari 2600. Got a bunch of games for him.
That was my first system.
All right, so you'll appreciate this. I watched him play. He was sharing it on Discord. What all was he playing? I don't remember everything that he was playing, but he was playing Alien, the game, which was pretty much Pac-Man. It was wild. Like it bared no resemblance to anything in Alien whatsoever. And also the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which also had no business. You know, like it didn't look like it at all. A Halloween 2. He was playing the Halloween game. And for their time, dude, that was groundbreaking. That was the closest thing you got. That's the only way you could be Michael Myers other than watching the movies back then, you know? And
they were revolutionary for what they were, especially back then where you didn't have realistic graphics. Like your imagination filled in half the game.
It had to. But the Friday the 13th NES game, Rob's number 5, that was the next level of that, you know. So I give it its props. It deserves. I'm not mad. It can be there. That's fine. Hell of a deal. All right, Chris, what's your number 4?
I just still have a problem with LGN games is all.
That's all right. What's your number 4, Chris?
My number 4, and it's kind of in the same vein as Alien Isolation, of a game where you don't have a whole lot of agency. You have two choice, run and hide, was the original Outlast. The original Outlast and its DLC are some of the most butthole clenching moments in gaming that you can have.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. That's a really good spot. Outlast Trial, well, not Outlast Trials, that's a new one. The original Outlast game was the first time I truly got scared playing the game. Like I remember the first time I played that game was me and my younger cousin, turned out all the lights, pitch dark, had it on the TV. We were little bitches that night. We were screaming and everything else. And it was a really good time. And that game, it was like the perfect mix. I just sucked at it. Like I was really bad at that game. But I've seen people play it who are like used to that more single player style game, which I wasn't. They figured that shit out. They were grooving through that thing, dude, and it was impressive. But yeah, I'm with it. Outlast for sure. All right, my number 4 is Phasmophobia. I love that game. I got lost for quite some time on Phasmo. I was really hooked on it. It's a lot of fun, and they're still, dude, like they haven't even hit their peak yet. Arguably, they have the movie coming out through Blumhouse, which I can't fucking wait for. They're growing the game. They just put out they're reworking maps. They're adding all kinds of things. Like they're really going hard right now still. And it birthed a whole new game. Like I was playing Demonologist tonight. Like that game doesn't exist without Phasmo. You know, there's a bunch of games that were made based around Phasmophobia's design.
I can't hate the love for Phasmophobia type games like those. I don't want to call them like asymmetrical, as there's really there's nobody playing the villain, but those multiplayer games where you're all trying to solve a mystery.
Yeah.
And the game is constantly messing with you, and especially like with Phasmophobia, where the game's listening to you talk in the in-game voice chat, and if you know, like saying specific keywords and whatnot will trigger the ghost to either pacify or become angrier. Like,
Yeah.
It was such an amazing like game mechanic, and it, like, even if you don't play it, like watching people play it
Yeah.
was such an amazing experience.
Yeah. And it forces you to have a different type of skill set for games, right? Like you look at asymmetrical horror, it's a good example. You have to have so many, like, it's such a different skill set than a game like Phasmo, Demonologist, or whatever. It's more of an information based and figuring things out. I love that shit, dude. I have sat and gone through like chaos modes by myself, because it's just fun. Like it's like the challenge of figuring it out. And if you get a good group of people together, it's fun. Like it's, this person found this person thinks this. And, it's a fun time trying to figure this stuff out. I enjoy it a lot. Rob, still need to get you on Phasmo.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've never played it, but you're always trying to get me to play it, but it sounds stupid.
Not to mention, though, like Phasmophobia, like also has like VR modes and whatnot. So if you have like those VR headsets, like becomes even that more immersive. Like,
yeah, on console now.
I cannot fault Phasmo for just what it brought to the table and what it changed.
Yeah. Oh, big time. And it's still going, dude. It's on consoles now. Like, that's huge. It's really big. So yeah, bravo. Also, another game that did not make. Well, I'll wait to see if it comes up. But Rob, what's your number 3? Are we on 3 or 4?
No, we're
that
on
would
4.
be 4.
Yeah, we're on 4. So my number 4 is, I don't like those playing with other people games, right? You're always trying to get me to play them, and I don't like them. Because that's not what gaming is. Gaming is sitting by yourself in a room in the dark, shutting the world out. But the one that I really enjoyed, the one that I liked playing the most, was the Friday the 13th game from God.
Number 4.
Yeah, like I really enjoyed that game, and it was not even so much about playing the game, because I'm not a fan of those kind of games, but the detail and everything else, and the love that went into the game was you couldn't beat it, and it was just fun to walk around and explore that world.
I'm ashamed of you. I'm disgusted at you. Actually,
what? It's number 4. Like,
that's low. It's low. We'll talk more about. I'll say more about that later.
In the history of horror video games, though, that's not bad that it's on Rob's Mount Rushmore.
Still, it's too low. I'll say more later. Chris, your number 3, top 3.
My number 3, I would almost give this a double billing, just because I feel the sequel to it builds off the original game so well. But my number 3 is going to be Alan Wake, just because of its story narrative and the world that it builds. It's such a creepy, weird experience to go through, that the visuals, the sound, and even the music alone builds off it. Like the fact that one of the songs from that game actually contributed to the Killer Beats Christmas Day Miracle.
Damn. Yeah. Okay.
Says a lot. Like Alan Wake is made by the same people who did like Max Payne and those type of games. Like, it's such an amazing world and experience to go through, and it's even built up to expanding over to like creating the other tangent games like Control and whatnot, where that they touch on the same universe. Like, they're building their own universe within the Alan Wake storyline that I just fucking love that game. It's so amazing. Like, the storytelling, the gameplay, and just everything about it just hits all the right notes for me.
Okay. And this is Alan Wake 1, not 2, right?
It's Alan Wake 1. I give Alan Wake 2, though, the same billing, although Alan Wake 2 feels slightly like a different game. Alan Wake 1's more of the, I would say, is more of the stressful game, while Alan Wake 2 is building more upon that the world that they're in, that Alan Wake is becoming more comfortable with the setting he's in.
Okay.
But then it also deals a lot with like other people that are getting sucked into Alan Wake's universe. That it's a game that you have to play to appreciate.
Yeah. I've never played Alan Wake, but it always looked like a game I would like. I just never got around to playing it.
Same.
I would highly recommend it. Like, it's so perfect in the way that it's presented and narrated and done, that especially like for you, Rob, like with the musical elements in it, like I think you would appreciate it.
Yeah, I might try and check it out. I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's been all this time. Probably not going to happen, but maybe.
Fair enough.
You could probably find it for dirt cheap these days.
All right, my number 3, and this is hard for me, but number 3, I landed with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I have been having so much fun with this game and Rush Week lately. Rush Week is like a whole different world for me. Playing this game, it has a very negative connotation today because of the whole, stopping production and all that stuff, and people are giving Gunn a bad rap, and I feel like it's for no reason. This game is visually absolutely incredible. Is there problems and big problems with the balancing of it? Absolutely. Cannot even begin to deny it. I have big problems with the balancing of the regular game. Rush Week is chef's kiss. Rush Week is great. I love it. But focusing on the game in its entirety, obviously the regular game mode, it drags it down a bit, and it's obviously not going to be getting anything else added to it. Obviously sucks too, but just on that, people have to remember real quick that Gunn is a company that needs to make money. They have employees that they pay a check to, that they pay their bills with. TCM isn't making a ton of money. And this is coming, like, you cannot, like, there's people who say, oh, so many people play. I play that game. I play Rush Week against the same people every fucking night. I play the regular mode. I'm waiting 20 minutes for a lobby sometimes. Not a lot of people are playing that game. Period. End of story. So people just need to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Because they made a business decision for a business.
So it's a good looking game. It's a lot of fun. It's a little too easy for me. I dominated it, and then I just kind of stopped.
Not true. That's not
crushed
true.
it.
I'm not. No, that's bullshit.
I'll give the game this. It is incredibly faithful to the original.
Yes.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. Like, if there were no sequels and that was the quote unquote universe they were going to build it off of, it stays incredibly true to the original.
Yeah.
The original world. Like, it never leans into kind of like the goofier sides that the sequels and whatnot went down to. I mean, I love part 2. Part 2's a bunch of like camp and cheese that I love. Like, but the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie is just so gritty and in your face and somewhat realistic feeling and that's just the feel that they kind of went for with the games. Like, even the maps and whatnot all feel very much like that. Like, they built an incredible love letter to the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre with that game.
Yeah, without question. It visually is incredible. And that much work, like, goes into, like, they tried to make a game to compete with Dead by Daylight, like, out of the gate. Like, it's not hard. Perks and all that goes into that, and skill trees and everything. It not all of it landed. No argument there. But dude, that effort that went in, dude, they almost fucking did it. And they were ballsy for going with 4v3. But they tried it, and number 3, fair spot, I think. Robert?
Oh shit. Is it my turn?
Yeah, you number 3.
Oh. My number 3. Oh shit. This game was so much fun. I only played it for like a couple of days because a friend of mine came to visit me and he had a copy of it, and we stayed up. It was one of those deals where we stayed up like all weekend playing this fucking game. I can't remember if it was on PS1 or PS2. It was called Fatal Frame.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy ass game where you had like you were in like, I think it was like Japan or something, and you had this camera and you had to try to capture these ghosts by taking their picture and shit, and it was scary as fuck. And it was a lot of fun, and I wish I remembered more about it, but damn it, it was a good time.
I mean, there's been like 5 or 6 games based off Fatal Frame that it was one of those games, especially the one you're talking about. Like, it was one of those ones that was the era of when Japanese horror was finally getting a foothold in the US, where much like Resident Evil, like Mikey mentioned, it was like Resident Evil, Silent Hill, and Fatal Frame for a while were the big 3 of games at that time, and they were so well done.
Yeah, undeniable. Okay, good pick, Rob. Nice.
Yeah, it was a scary ass game too. That's what I remember about it. It was a lot of fun though.
No, okay, good. That's a good pick. I like that. The diversity of this list.
I'm a gaming expert.
Okay, calm down. Chris, what's your number 3? Top 3? Oh, that was 3
I'm
too.
I'm honestly surprised nobody's brought up this series before, but I guess considering the people I'm with, not a wholly unsurprising. But my number 2, as far as like best horror games out there, is Silent Hill 2. Like,
whoa,
the gameplay, the story elements, the visuals, everything about that game just connects deeply, and depending on how you play determines like what ending you get. In the game had like, if I'm remembering correctly, had like 6 or 7 different endings you can get, although one of them was a joke that you can only get on a replay. But it was Silent Hill 2 is, there's a reason why when they remade it and they did a whole remaster of it, that was the Silent Hill they went with. Silent Hill 2 is just so damn good.
Okay. I wasn't a huge Silent Hill fan. Again, not a single player guy, so it's a little different for me. But again, I do like people watching those games. We talked about that with Little Nightmares recently. Definitely like people to watch people play that. It's just not something that I'm going to sit through, like I'm not a single player guy. But yeah, undoubtedly, man, huge game in the history of horror gaming for sure. All right, my number 2 is Dead by Daylight. That's right. Number 2 on my list. Again, where I kind of like I talked about with TCM. Does the game have problems? Undoubtedly. There is a long list of balancing issues in this game and things like that I have a big problem with personally. But still, when you get a fair game, like a true game matched up against a team of survivors or killer of equal skill level, which again, you're asking for a perfect world and asymmetrical. I get it, but I'm saying in the perfect world, when that happens and you get a real match where it's balanced and both sides can have a good time, dude, you can, that game creates moments like no other game. Like it's just the way it is, man. Like the stress of a really strong end game is so much fun. The loops are so much fun, but there are big balancing issues. And also, like, obviously to mention, the fucking licenses that they have are like, you have almost everybody from the horror world. Like they've called themselves the Museum of Horror, and it's 100% true. And they look great, like visually, the characters look like Springtrap that just got added, all the way back to Myers, who's being reworked now. They do care about these characters, and they do try to do their best to adapt them to function within the game. And it's not always easy. And but they're still trying. They're reworking things, like I said, Myers and all that stuff. So it can't go any lower than 2. I feel like it would be unfair, especially me being in that asymmetrical, that being my taste in games. It has to be at least 2. Like it's top 2. Fair or unfair, gentlemen?
Fair enough. I mean, the old days of watching your guys' Twitch stream, like the scariest thing was Rob trying to find his way out of the basement.
Oh yeah, I was so good at that game though. That was really the problem. It was, again, I feel like it was almost too easy. It gets a lot of points from me though for allowing me to be Nicolas Cage.
Dude, it has something for everybody. Like it truly does. Alan Wake's in the game. It's just that them to be able to bring that many characters into one world is fucking incredible. You say what you want about the game itself. That alone is fucking incredible.
Yep.
Undoubtedly. Yeah.
Yep.
So number 2, fair spot, I think.
It'd be hard to say that it doesn't deserve a place in the conversation.
Oh yeah, and again, especially for my taste, like my asymmetrical multiplayer preference for horror gaming and gaming in general. Yeah, I mean, DVD's got to be up there in the top 2. All right, Rob, what's your number 2?
My number 2.
You got a number 2.
My number 2 is another game that I played. This one I'm almost certain was on the PS1. It was so much fun. It was called Clock Tower.
Oh, you talked about this before.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. You played like this college girl who was running away from a killer named, he had like a generic name called like Scissor Man or some nonsense.
It was Scissor Man.
Yeah, and the whole object of the game was like solve the mystery of Scissor Man. But it was the first time I played like a slasher video game where like you were hiding from a killer, and it was super cool at the time, because this was the PS1 that you could like hide under the bed or whatever, like just shit that we take for granted now. But I'd never seen it before in a game. It was so much fun. I absolutely loved that game.
It was definitely like an evolution on like the old like point and click adventure type games. Like I'd probably too old for Mikey and most of our audience, but like if maybe Rob, like maybe you remember like Maniac Mansion and whatnot. Like it felt like an evolution of those type of games. Like you click on stuff or like you do things in certain orders and it would unlock different paths that you can go down. Like no, Clock Tower is definitely one of those games. Like, and it's had a couple sequels.
Yeah, I don't know if
but I don't think anything was as effective as that first Clock Tower game.
I don't think I ever played any of the sequels, but I do remember playing Clock Tower, and I absolutely loved it. It was so much fun.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, you've been on that game for a long time.
Yeah, I loved that game. It was great.
Oh. All right, Chris, it's time for your number one.
My number one, as far as like favorite horror game that I've ever played, and if you've been following Mecha Spyro, you've probably been seeing him playing it as well.
Oh,
it's Dead Space. Dead Space. It's just the perfect mix of sci-fi and like zombie horror that the game like constantly is like playing with your mind, like what you think the story's going on. Like when you know the twist of the game, like you can play through the game again and then try to get like all the hints of what like all the story elements. But Dead Space was great. It was kind of like Resident Evil, but it played against like all your survival like instinct. Like headshotting the monsters is actually not the way to beat them. The only way to truly protect yourself from the monsters is to cut off all their limbs so that way they can't even attack you. Like Dead Space alone, like from sound design and whatnot and gameplay mechanics, it's practically perfect.
Yeah, that's a good one, man. Again, not a game that I haven't either. I've seen a lot of gameplay on it because again, the single player, I kind of treat those like movies, dude. Especially with watching other people and their reaction to some of these games. Really fun. So I do enjoy watching gameplay. That's basically Spyro at Mecha Spyro on Twitch. Everybody needs to go watch him. He's a good time. Yeah, he's been going down pretty hard on Dead Space lately, and it's been fun to watch. All right, my number one, and anyone who knows me at all, there's no surprise here. It's Friday the 13th again. This is, I say it all the time, the greatest game ever created. The one by Gunn, it was perfect, dude. Like it was absolutely, it was super balanced. They made certain changes when the balance was off, and that corrected so much. Like they truly had their finger on the pulse of their game. You could tell they played their game publicly with strangers for, all different possible types of outcome. They were aware of their game and it showed. Like all changes they made as far as balancing made sense. And there was really in terms of the balancing, weren't any real missteps. They had more stuff planned, they had more content planned. It functioned perfectly. And it was fucking badass, dude. Like you had multiple ways to escape. The amount of fun that I've had on this game is irreplaceable. I love it so much. And yeah, it's easily fun. And I'll say this too. If that lawsuit shit didn't happen with the Friday the 13th franchise, and also everybody listening, Gunn didn't do shit wrong in this situation. It was unfortunate stuff beyond their control. If this game never stopped production, the asymmetrical horror gaming landscape would look different. And I'm not saying it would have killed DBD. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying they both would have coexisted and it would be super interesting to see what that would have looked like. Love that game. Shame on you, Rob, for having it so damn fun.
I had a number 4. That's good.
Screw you. Shameful.
It's a good spot for it. It would have been higher if it wasn't one of those stupid play against other people games. I don't like those.
Oh, it's so much fun, dude. So much fun.
That's how much I did like it. Like, I don't like that kind of game, and it still made my top 5.
Too low. What's your number one?
I feel at least like Friday the 13th, like it was a great game. That it was a horror game, yes, but it was one of those games like if you and like a close group of friends were all playing together, it also led to so many opportunities for so many impromptu moments of just fun and hilarity. Like even like people like in my friend group, like we have people that aren't huge horror fans, but they played a lot of Friday the 13th with me because that was my game of choice, and everybody was kind of burnt out on Call of Duty at the time. Like, so we played it a ton, and I just remember playing as Jason one time and running into the cabin, and my boss was in there, and she saw me, and all I can hear through the game chat is "Oh dear!" as she turns around and jumps through a closed window. Like,
It had those moments.
She literally got away because I was laughing too hard just because of that moment of just the "oh dear" and then the panic jump through the window. Like you get to live for at least 5 more minutes.
Yeah, dude, it created great moments, like great moments, and it's irreplaceable to me.
It was those impromptu moments that made Friday the 13th great. As far as like the asymmetrical games go. I'm not a huge multiplayer horror person. Like Phasmo would probably be more my speed because it's everybody working together to try to solve a mystery, kind of more of an escape room type thing than anything. But there was something about Friday the 13th that made it special.
Yeah,
and I think it was the attention to detail, but also letting the players kind of create their own moments as well was what made it great.
Yeah. All right, Rob, what's your number one?
All right. Well, first of all, shame on you, Mikey, for not putting that game that made you scream like a little bitch on your list.
I didn't mention my honorable mentions yet.
Okay. Number one for me, this is no surprise. There's no way I'm putting together a list like this and not having a super massive game on here. It's Until Dawn. I love that game so much.
Okay.
It's so replayable. I love their games just in general. In fact, when I initially put the list together, I think 3 of the spots were taken up by their games. I decided that was maybe a little too much. But Until Dawn is without a doubt my favorite horror video game I've ever played.
That's fair.
Until Dawn was really good. I think I kind of like the what was it, Man in Medan or whatever.
Yeah,
the one on the boat.
Yeah, the haunted.
The one on the boat. That one I think gripped me a little more than the others. But Supermassive makes great interactive cinematic.
Yeah.
Horror things, and the fact that your actions can, well, outside of Until Dawn, like, can drastically change the endings of those games is kind of impressive.
Yeah, they're so much fun, and they're super replayable because you get a different ending almost every damn time.
No, definitely, like that. The fact that there's multiple endings and whatnot, and some of those endings almost make it an entirely different story. Like,
yeah,
it's kind of impressive.
Yeah. It in the world of single player horror, they're Supermassive. They're the Dead by Daylight. They're the Behavior. You know what I mean? Like that's top of the mountain right there. You have other games like The Quarry, and like they just create great games.
As far as like the cinematic ones go, Supermassive I think is definitely the modern day top of the mountain. They're the ones you have to dethrone if you want to try to take that cinematic storytelling down.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. My honorable mentions, though, real quick, just some games, and I'll ask you guys if you have any too. Is only 2 that I forget earlier. I had one that I mentioned, but the other ones that I did not mention was Sons of the Forest. I've been having so much fun with that game. The bunny hutches never ends, and I'm way late to the party on that one, but very much a huge fan of Sons of the Forest. They did phenomenal with that game. And also, like Rob alluded to, also late to the party on this one too. I finally played Mortuary Assistant, and that game scared the fuck out of me. Like, that is probably the most scared I've gotten at a game ever. Like, it scared the shit out of me. And I've only played it the one time, but honestly, that was enough to know. And they also have a Blumhouse movie coming out too, which is fucking awesome. But yeah, I mean, those 2 games.
Mortuary Assistant is definitely one of those things, like, you don't need to be a AAA studio to make an impactful game. Like Mortuary Assistant is one of those ones, like, I couldn't tell you what specifically about it is, but like it doesn't feel like an indie game, but the way they piece everything together, and again, it's one of those games where it's like you're trying to solve a mystery and whatnot, but it has intense horror elements that I think really ties it together nicely.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. All right. Do you have any honorable mentions, Chris? Or because I know you mentioned 1, 2 earlier. Do you have any others?
I mean, my main honorable mention is in a lot of ways kind of a reverse horror film where not every traumatic event means that you're the one that's traumatized. And the one I'm thinking of is the one where you are the traumatic event, and that's going to be Doom 2016. The remake of Doom, where you're just a soldier woken up after spending years fighting the forces of hell, and then you're reawakened into a world where hell's spreading across the world again, and it's like, I mean, you've known me long enough, Mikey. Like, Doom is one of those games where it's just so iconic. Like, if you grew up in like the 90s, like everybody knows Doom.
Yeah.
And 2016 is just one of those games where when you play it and you get really good at it, it becomes one of those power fantasies where it's just you mowing down the entire armies of hell, and it's just so satisfying to play through. But yet the world is so dark and gloomy and horrific that it's almost perfect in the way that it's portrayed.
Yeah. All right. Awesome game. Awesome game. Awesome list, guys. Rob, I'm still mad at you for a Friday the 13th thing.
I think I did pretty good with it. 4. That's not bad.
No, Jim. But yeah, that was that's one I always get. Like when we get to talk about the gaming side of, I love talking about the movies, but every now and again, highlighting certain games and giving them their time in the sun and the horror world is very important. So good shit, guys.
Sometimes you got to give them their flowers.
Absolutely. All right, so that's it for this one. Make sure to follow us on everything.
Well, are you going to ignore the thing that Cass sent us?
Oh, dear God. Yes, I'm going to ignore what Chris. You promised me to. No gabagool stuff.
I did not send a gabagool thing period.
This says it's from an anonymous source that will not be disclosed, so we have no idea who sent this.
So you think it's just a complete coincidence that this happened today?
I'm saying it's from an anonymous source that Cass will not disclose. I don't know who sent it.
So
I'm not in any of these chats, so I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
So it was Rob that did it then.
It says an anonymous source who will not be disclosed. I don't know who sent it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This smells like Rob Humphrey then. It's a gabagool mystery corner meme of the Sopranos.
Been a while since we had one of these.
Yeah.
And you were just going to gloss right by it.
Because we moved on with the show. The show got moved on with. And yet here we are. It's a meme of the Sopranos saying, POV, you took the last of the gabagool. Are you proud of yourself, Mr. Humphrey?
I don't know. I didn't send it.
I believe you sent it to be sent.
I did not send anything to anyone. Believe what you want. I can tell you what the truth is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Someone did it, is the point. And I'll appreciate it.
Listen, I freely admit I might have been part of like 90% of the old gabagoolies. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see how you being American means that we can't talk about gabagoolies.
It's not about being American. It's about the Italian stuff. And you know it. All right. Can we move forward with the show now?
I just wanted to address it. I mean, it was nice enough that one of the listeners, somebody, was nice enough to submit it. Cass was nice enough to pass it along. We should talk about it.
Cass is a shithead for passing it along, is what's going on here.
Well, that's rude.
I've said worse to her. This is fine. And everyone involved, too, including you, Rob, whoever was involved in this. Shame on all of you. Shame, shame. Yeah, like I was saying, though, you can follow the show at Slasher Radio on everything. Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, all the stuff at Slasher Radio. Don't forget about what's coming up for, oh, God, it's happening all so soon. Good Lord. I'm going to be so busy. Yeah, so we have a really dope Halloween coming up. That starts next week. Next week? No. Yeah, next week. It's unbelievable to me how quickly this is all coming. And like September didn't even happen. It's fucking wild.
Yeah.
I'm at Mikey's Dad on Twitter. If you want to give me a follow, you can do that as well. And if you are listening to this show on YouTube and you've made it this far, then thank you for listening. And also throw it a like, man. Maybe a little interaction or something.
R's in the chat.
We don't have a chat?
Put R's in the chat.
We don't have a chat, though. So it'd be hard to do that. Yeah, it's the best way to support the show. Also, Patreon, patreon.com/SlasherRadio. Tier starting as low as $3 a month. You can get yourself a free week. It's free to check out. So extra show every week, ad free too. I realized that YouTube, the people who watch the show, listen to the show on YouTube, God, the ads that they hit you with, dude. Patreon for just $3 a month, you don't get any of those.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, hell of a deal. Like I said, extra every week. Everything we do, you guys get early. Also, there's a subscription thing on YouTube too. You know, that's a good way to do it too. And I believe you don't get ads there as well. So, yeah, I think that's it. Rob, what about you?
You can find me around. I'm at Radio Rob123. You can listen to the other show that I do, the Nick fucking Woo Cagecast. That's Nick effing Woo Cagecast in your podcast players. We're going to be talking about The Old Way. Another back-to-back Nicolas Cage westerns on that show for some reason. I don't know how that panned out. But here we are. And also, I just recorded a show with Sean's Horror Corner on YouTube. Ooh. And that is going to be out, I believe he said it was going to be out the 29th. So you can go check that out too. We're talking about The Town That Dreaded Sundown. Ah,
that's why you're watching that. Okay, so that'll be out in a few days when this comes out. Yeah. Hell of a deal. Okay.
If I remember the date right, which, 20% chance that's the accurate date, but I'm pretty sure he said the 29th.
So it could be coming out in 6 months or in 3 days.
Just go look for it. Go look for it and go check out Sean's channel. It's really good. It's Sean's Horror Corner on YouTube.
Nice. Hell of a deal. All right. Chris, thank you very much for joining us, sir. It was a pleasure as always.
Always a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. Well, let everybody know where they can get a hold of you.
You can find me on Twitter as EYERCHRIS. You can also find me on the Slasher Radio Discord. And if you're on the YouTube, it would be nice if you dab that subscribe button, strangle that bell, mash that like button, and then, post some R's in the comments for Rob. And if you join the chat room, post some R's in the Discord as well.
Damn it, we do have a chat in the Discord, don't we?
Yeah, we're trying to just get R's everywhere. Just R's in the chat.
Please don't do that. Please don't do that.
Post the R's. Do it.
No, I would appreciate it if it wasn't done.
Do it.
All right, guys. That is it for us. Next week, we will be back with Greg Nicotero, and that kicks off Halloween, the official Halloween season. Good night from Slasher Radio.
All the best of Slasher Radio podcast.